Welcome on in, everybody. It's your Frogman here, King Pepe II, bringing you some more 2.5 anniversary news. And I watched the entire anniversary last night. I stayed up, I watched it, I enjoyed it, and there were some parts in there that I'll be getting to as well. But before we head into the update itself, like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hope you guys enjoy the content itself. And let me also bring back my bunny girls here because I accidentally had them hidden. But yeah, like, subscribe. Any comments down below what you are looking forward to with the new 2.5 anniversary. Any new players watching this here, what are you guys looking forward to with the game overall? What is obviously I feel it's going to be obviously the fan service here, right? But I still love to hear your thoughts nonetheless. Also, I'll have the coupon code in my description below so you guys can enter it for 10 free tickets. And follow me on my socials. And with that being said, let's cover it. Okay. So, lots of content to cover, but don't you worry. I'm going to do my very best to try and summarize this entire update as, like, with a lot of the more important details regarding the update, okay? So I timestamped everything on my end over here so I can get to the, obviously all the points in the video, okay? So I do also apologize if I do cough or have to blow my nose or something because I am still sick. I'm still recovering. But, it wasn't going to get me down because I wanted to make this video and I wanted to cover the 2.5 anniversary. I love Brown Dust 2, right? As a player and as a content creator for it, I am very, very excited to talk about it, okay? So let's head into it, okay? First off, I'm going to be covering the skill cutscenes, going to showcase them, okay, for this little portion. And I have everything planned, okay? But let's get it. So first on the list is the new costume, Bittersweet Bunny Darian. Here she is. I know that she is censored, but I can assure you in the live stream she is not, okay? So this is her. I'll show you her uncensored form, but let me read a little bit about her, okay? So she is the leader of the Sweet and Bitter Snow Rabbit Village. Bittersweet Bunny Darian here. She's set out for the ice hole to reclaim the cold that the Ice Queen stole, okay? It'll be the only limited pickup costume for the 2.5 anniversary, and the pickup will run for 4 weeks. Okay, so that's basically like the entire event in itself. In battle, she deals continuous damage over a wide AoE. Her skill has a very long cooldown, but the skill's cooldown will decrease proportionally to the number of targets hit. Okay, so it's looking like she's a DOT type, from my understanding of the wording here. And also, it does seem like she's going to be using a lot of SP costs, but it also decreases proportionally to the number of targets hit. So it is very interesting to read that. So I'm very curious and excited to see how this new costume is going to work with her, So let's go watch the new skill cutscene for her. And let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is what she looks like uncensored, so you can get a feel for her. This is what she looks like uncensored, okay? And we're gonna get the skill cutscene very, very soon. Okay, so obviously, Gami and his team did a phenomenal job on her design. I love it. Okay, so here we have the skill cutscene. Enjoy it, and I'll put the volume on just for this part, okay? And the other ones, and the other parts. So yeah, obviously Darian is really enjoying that ice cream. You can clearly tell, right? And check out the booty on her, right? So there is the first skill cutscene of many that I'm going to be showcasing here on the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be also demonstrating it when I stream this on my Twitch channel as well. But yeah, so there you have it. That's Darian. Here's a little bit of a clip here. I know they had to censor the ice cream for some reason, right? Our team's comment was, "Good grief, you shouldn't spit it out on the bed. Swallow it back down cleanly, okay? It's a pain to clean up." I mean, you wouldn't want a messy bed, right? Okay, so let's hop into the next Shadow Bunny Elenir. Okay, so here she is. So she is not going to be a limited. Darian is the only limited, by the way. Let me say that again. She's the only limited, okay? So, I would put her as a priority first if you're looking for a collection or looking to plus 5 her. Okay. She's also a magic type, so keep that in mind. Okay. Shadow Bunny Elenir. Okay, so obviously she's censored here, but I'll show you the uncensored version of her. A shadow bunny born with a dark aura, Elenir. While other snow rabbits worked to restore the cold, excuse me, she trained alone, studying the bow in a volcano covered in black ashes until she developed remarkable archery skills. She's offered as a pickup costume. In battle, she grants effects that apply across the entire battlefield. She'll grant buffs to allies and debuffs to enemies. So she actually does sound very, very sound. And let's take a little bit of the look. Your art. Our team comments said, Elenir, get out of there right now. It's a mint chocolate ice cream. It's dangerous. And, you know, I actually do love mint chocolate ice cream. Okay, guys, so here's the skill cutscene I'll be showing here now. Also, I'm not sure if you guys could see the skill cutscenes with my girls here. Let me hide them for this one. Sorry about that. I'm not sure if you guys were able to see all that. But don't worry, I'll still be showcasing, obviously, when she's debuted for every one of them. Okay? Okay, so here's Elenir. This is what she looks like uncensored. Okay? So there she is. Excellent design. I love the fact that Elenir is shown in a different light than her other costumes. Because obviously, you know, we have her schoolgirl one and then her idol one, right? So very different look for her. Very different feel. So very excited. Very, very excited to roll for her. So they're just talking a little bit about her right now. So let's hop straight into the cutscene, right? So let's see. Is it here? Oh, yeah, here it is. And
Go straight into her skill cutscene. Oh, wow.
Okay, so there's Elenir, right? It looks like she likes it rough, right? She loves it rough, it looks like. And you saw the amount of jiggle on that booty, right? So there you have it. That's Elenir's skill cutscene for you. Obviously, it's not as spicy as Darian's, but it still is spicy nonetheless. So very nice. Well done job for her. I'm very happy with it. So here's Innocent Bunny Tier. Okay, so here she is. I know the sticker makes her look naked, guys, but she actually isn't. Unfortunately, she does have clothes. Okay. So a bunny girl as pure as fresh snow from the Snow Rabbit Village, Innocent Bunny Tier. Though timid and easily frightened, Tier is blessed with many talents. She sets out with Darian, the leader of the Snow Rabbit Village, to the Ice Queen's ice hold in search of the cold she stole. She's available for pickup on December 30th, so basically on the end of the year, guys. In battle, her skill damage proportional. In battle, her skills deal damage proportional to SP spent, and each subsequent skill use increases the amount of SP consumed. So it looks like she's going to be an SP like type eater here, guys. What can I say? So she's a physical type. I would highly suggest having anybody that could restore SP points, okay? But it does seem like she is powerful nonetheless, because I mean, if you look at her first costume, if you have it and you've experienced the actual damage numbers on it that you can do, it is actually really, really nice. She's an AoE type as well. So most likely she'll be another AoE type here with her second costume. So let's go show her skill cutscene real quick. I know, it does actually make her look like she's like, you know, naked, right? Okay, so here she is. Here's Tyr, the uncensored version of her. And yes, she does have clothes, okay? So if we take a look at this skill cutscene, it is very spicy, so enjoy.
Hey.
I know, that poor rabbit, right? I'm not too sure if this is supposed to be either the tail of the rabbit or if this is part of Tyr's boots. A lot of people in the live stream chat were saying, like, when she crashed, she actually squished the rabbits. But here she is, right? Very, very unique. I don't know how her clothes got ripped up, but hey, I mean, the fall was must have been something. She must have snagged something on, like, the snow, right? But there's Tyr's skill cutscene. Excellent work by Gami. Okay. And our team comment was sticky rice cake, ice cream. There you have it. Here's the Frozen Queen Wilhelmina. So she was voted for being the next +5 free one. So the queen with an unyieldy will, Frozen Queen Wilhelmina. So Wilhelmina basically is gonna be the main villainess in this story for it. So I know, right? Different from her main story, but I don't know. She kind of would seem like she would be making a great villainess. Who knows? Maybe we can turn her back to good in the main story. You never know. Okay, not main story. The event story. Okay, so Wilhelmina, who had long ruled over the ice hold and her ice soldiers, suddenly stole all the cold from Snow Rabbit Village. Found out why the Frozen Queen would do such a thing through the event pack. Wilhelmina took first place by a landslide in the second anniversary popularity vote, and she has been selected as the free character for the 2.5 anniversary. She will be available for free up to +5 upgrade, and she will be available to obtain at any time, even after the update. In battle, she strikes repeatedly in a straight line and grants herself buffs. So she does sound very, very strong, actually, right? Because she not only does chain stacking still, she also gives herself buffs. So I wonder what the buffs might be, though. But yeah, so if you're new and you don't really know too much about Wilhelmina, she is a chain stacker for physical types. So her first costume, which was the Iron Monarch, does a 12 chain combo. Her second one, which was her bikini one, does chain refinement. She attacks basically in a V shape instead. And then now we have her +5 one, which is the free one, her Frozen Queen Wilhelmina. And looks like she's going to be attacking in a straight line. Now, sadly, we do not have any of the skill like visuals, like you know how I normally like showcase them. Like they have the like descriptions below and the range. So obviously we're gonna have to wait until the actual update or the day before the update, and I'll check it out and see if they post the actual like skills themselves and the range and all that, where I can get into more detail about it. But as of right now, we can only speculate that the straight line is either going to be covering the entire column, or it might just cover like 2 or 3 squares. We don't know. But all we know is she's still going to be doing chain damage stacks. So excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. And FYI, guys, the chain stacking is actually very strong in the game as of right now. So I would highly suggest going for her other 2 costumes if you can, if you're new and you don't have them. Okay. She's also a physical type. Okay, so next we have her skill cutscene. Okay, so art team comments. I want to be the chair in your room for just one day. This is actually a perfect comment, by the way, and you'll see why. So let's go ahead into Wilhelmina's skill cutscene. I gotta say, very impressed by it too as well. Obviously, I'm very impressed by the overall, 2.5 anniversary. But here's Wilhelmina. This is what she looks like uncensored. Okay, this is the uncensored Wilhelmina. Sorry, I forgot to mute that. Excellent design. In all honesty, it actually works for her, right? She does have the entire aesthetic of a queen, and also she has the look of like the ice. Obviously, you see the snowflakes, right, being a part of her costume and everything. The sword even is like crystallized, you know. So excellent job with this. Okay, so here's the skill cutscene. Let me unpause it. And there you have. Oh, it's a nice pause. But that's where that chair comment came in. Okay, I know, right? It's perfect for what I was telling you guys about. So there it is, right? There it is.
Wow.
And obviously we have Wilhelmina holding up her puppies there, because apparently they're just too heavy for her. It's like somebody's got to hold them up, right? But there you have it. So that is Wilhelmina's skill cutscene. I know all you diehard Wilhelmina fans are going crazy right now. But yeah, so there it is. That's the coverage for the new Bunny Girl skill cutscenes. Okay, so hopefully you guys are just as hyped as I am about them. Okay. But yeah, so as of right now, we're going to check out the new event pack. I'll tell you a little bit of the details now about it, and let's hit it. Okay, so Meltdown Bunnies, okay? I know, they had to censor this art even, too. It's crazy. The Winter Event Pack, Meltdown Bunnies, is a story set in the same fairy tale village as Character Pack 5, which is Rue's Labyrinth. So, basically, they're connected, but I don't think the stories in themselves are um, like a continuation, so to say. All we know is that Zenith is the one that sets out on this journey. Um, so let's see. It covers the events taking place in Snow Rabbit Village, a neighboring village of Fairy Tale Village. This winter, our merry band of friends from Fairy Tale Village set off for Snow Rabbit Village, a neighboring town famous for its sweet ice snacks. However, Snow Rabbit Village was deprived of its cold and was gradually melting away. Once the Fairy Tale Village friends learned that the Ice Hold's queen stole Snow Rabbit Village's coal, they set off for the Ice Hold. Sorry about that. Inside the Ice Hold, ruled by the Ice Queen, the Fairy Tale Village friends and the Snow Rabbits face all sorts of hardships. Finally, the Snow Rabbits come face to face with the Ice Queen, the one who stole their cold. Will the Snow Rabbits be able to safely reclaim their coal from the Ice Hold? For the full story, check out the Winter Event Pack Meltdown Bunnies. Okay. So, question is, do you have to, well, one question you might ask yourself is, do you have to actually have Ruse Labyrinth unlocked to play this story? I don't believe you have to have it unlocked. If I'm remembering correctly with other event pack themes, you don't have to have this unlocked, I don't think, to play the story. I believe you can just hop straight into it because technically it is a separate themed story from the rest of it. It's basically like, obviously like Nightmare Winter and the rerun for Memory's Edge, which I'll be getting into later. But yeah, I think this is just a separate story, so you don't have to have Ruse Labyrinth unlocked to necessarily play this. But it does introduce the characters like Zenith, Ventana, Rue, Glacia into like the story's theme itself. So I would suggest playing Ruse Labyrinth first and then playing this one just to have a little bit more, sense of the characters. Because some of the NPCs I'm assuming are going to show up in this from Ruse Labyrinth as well into the new themed. So, but that's just my suggestion. You could play it however you want. But yeah, so here's some snapshots of it. Looks like, honestly, the map itself reminds me of Candyland. The board game. It actually reminds me of this. So right here we have one of the main NPCs. Actually, I was just saying this just now. Um, sorry, just now from Ruse Labyrinth. I forgot what her name was again, but she was in a story pack for Ruse Labyrinth. We have Cinderella. She's also another NPC from Ruse Labyrinth as well. Looks like we have a cute little deer too and treasure chest. But yeah, so it reminds me a lot of Candyland. So we have some new NPCs over here, it looks like, as well. Here's the ice bridge, which I'm assuming is leading into Wilhelmina's ice hold here. And yes. Okay, so let me showcase some of these because obviously they're censored and I got you guys covered. I got you. Okay, so let me go up ahead here. Oh yeah, and here, by the way, if you want to check out all the bunny girls together, here they are. Okay, so let's head into the... Okay, so here's some screenshots of the uncensored version of this, okay? So what's going down here basically is they're trying to melt the bars, okay? Because it's ice, obviously. Glacia, she's trying to lick herself free, and Zenith is basically using her body heat from her, her boobs there to melt the ice bar. It looks like. Seems like she's having a little bit of an issue, right? But yeah, that's basically what's going on here. Okay, there's the the little sample here. We also have Tyr as well, and yes, Zenith is one hell of a lucky girl. Okay, she's a hell of a lucky woman right there, right? She was able to get a full face of Tyr's fun bags over here. Obviously, with Helmet on the background, you see how serious she looks, right? Looks like she actually like used magic of some sort to like push her into Zenith here. But yeah, so there's another screenshot. And by the way, in case you guys are curious, these are most likely going to be wallpaper for your home screen, okay? So you can have all the juicy, wallpaper along with the story event, okay? So it'll be a part of it permanently, okay? Okay, so now we have the story event for Ellen Near. Okay, so here's Ellen Near's. I know, right? I'll get into that. Why is she looking like she's in heat, right? Okay, so here we have some more of it. By the way, like I said, a very, very lucky woman Zenith is. And us for admiring it. Okay, so here's the new season event, Ready, Set, Hop. Okay, so basically this takes place after the winter event pack story. It even says it here. This is a story that takes place 2 days after the winter event pack. So after the stolen coal incident, Elenir the Black Rabbit appears in the Snow Rabbit village, claiming that she'll become the hero of the Snow Rabbits. The Snow Rabbit village's leader Darian proposes a certain trial to Elenir. Will Elenir be able to become the hero of the Snow Rabbits? Please support Elenir on her fiery and intense journey. So basically, she goes up against Zenith in a competition. I know. She's challenging Zenith here, guys, to archery. So here she is, right? Here's some skill screenshots. Okay, so Darian is basically putting her under a certain trial, it looks like. And obviously, that's a lot of drool, right? So, not sure what's going on in the back there with Elenir. She's probably experiencing some ecstasy of some sort, right? Some strong ecstasy of some sort. But yeah, so there she is. You can also tell by her eyes. You see how her eyes are changed? It's also something you recognize in her skill cutscene, in case you guys weren't looking at her face. It is something different, too, with her eyes, which I really love the detail about, too, because it actually shows off the dark aura that she possesses, right? Okay, so that's all for the new season event. Now, I'm going to talk very quickly about the rerun for the season event from last year called Memory's Edge. So, in brief summary, this is basically the story of Morphia and celebrity Bunny Lowen, who you meet, right? She's also rerunning currently in the banners right now. And you also get to meet the Fixers, Luvencia, or Wild Dog Luvencia, and Overheat Levia, too, as well. Okay? They are also in the story. So, not to give too much away about it in case you're new and you don't want spoilers. This is basically a story, in some ways or another, does connect to Nightmare Winter. Okay, so that's all I'll say about it. I would complete Nightmare Winter first if you haven't gotten to it already, just so, you know, if you want to do Memory's Edge, which I would highly recommend because it is an excellent story. It would make a little bit more sense with Morphia in some way, with like the details that she drops and also some references. So that's what I would suggest. But hey, you play the game however you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do with that. But I would just suggest doing Winter's Nightmare first and then doing Memory's Edge next. Okay? That's all I'll say about it. It is a very interesting story. Not to mention, it was very fun. Has a lot of cyberpunk theme to it as well, which is also another thing. So the neon lights and everything, you'll get to see that. It takes place at a bar, okay, that Darian works at along with Lowen because Lowen took her in for it, right? So that's the latest with this one. It is also going to be permanently unlocked after as well. So much like Nightmare Winter, which is permanently unlocked, Memory's Edge is going to be permanently unlocked as well. And in case you guys want to do the event stories for Luvencia and Olivia, those stories are actually already unlocked. So you can go into those event story packs, or not packs, but you know, on the home screen. Click on it and you should see them because it was basically it was the very first event story they ever had. VN, like this is when they started to do their VN style of it, and it covered Lovencia and Levia's part as fixers. Okay, from their perspective. Okay, so there you have it. There's the latest with the season event rerun. Now let's go ahead straight into the Fiend Hunter. Okay, so Fiend Hunter bosses, the Ashen Salamander, which is going to be the very first one once the anniversary does start. There it is. Fire type, looks like. The Fiend Hunter Ashen Salamander does not have conditional skills, but fights using wide AoE attacks. So I would suggest having, obviously, your gear built. It doesn't say if it's a physical or a magic type, but depending on the gear builds, guys, you know, I'll obviously have a guide for this, and I'll do it as well. So I would suggest having your water teams built for this one, okay, or even just using the free Wilhelmina. Do her event quests to unlock her to +5, equip her with the right gear, and then just go at it. But yeah, like I said, I'll do a guide for it, so not an issue. Here's the second one, which is a cute bunny themed, it looks like. The second Fiend Hunter, Frost Spirit, has fewer parts and skills compared to other monsters, making it suited for short, intense battles. Interesting. So it is going to be a water type. So this is basically going to be unlocked around the same time as Tier, which is going to be on December 30th. So obviously it's going to be catering towards her strengths or any wind type damage dealer you do have. So again, have your gear build for both magic and physical because it doesn't mention, which type this is. Also have at least, 2 DPS units of wind leveled up for like either the skill tree. Okay, same thing with water types for the Ashen Salamander. I would suggest doing that too as well. Okay, and then the rest, you can have as supporters. Okay, but yeah, there you have it. They're the Fiend Hunter bosses. And I remember in the live stream, apparently the community wanted they wanted the Fiend Hunter bosses to actually look a little bit more cuter. I know. It was something that they said in the live stream. I was like, what? I guess for this theme in itself, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Because it is a fairy tale type, story. So I didn't see an issue with it. But yeah, that was something that the devs were talking about. But anyway, moving on. Here is the guild raid boss, the Doomsday Machina. This is the wind type. So I believe that they had this first debut as the light elemental type, which I did a video for. I also have a YouTube short on it. Yeah, I do. This is the light elemental type that I did the boss fight with, and I did a YouTube short for it with me stacking damage on it. So if you want to check out that video, it is on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so I guess it's got a wind version now. So it unlocks on December 16th. Okay, so basically, when the anniversary does start, I'll be also doing a guide video on this and showcasing it to you guys. I'll make a YouTube short of it as well. Okay, so the guild raid boss, Doomsday Machina Wind, stacks continuous damage on enemies. So seems like it's a DOT type. That might be rough. Looks very badass, by the way. Very steampunk. Okay. Even the world behind it is a steampunk look. So very excited for this guild raid boss. So very, very excited. I unfortunately I didn't make a guide for the last one that they had because I was busy doing so much at the time. I didn't get a chance to do it. So here's my chance. Here's my chance to do a guide now. When the boss does drop, I'll be making a guide. Okay. So there you guys have it. There is the info for the new event stories, the new skill cutscenes that I showcased, the new bunny girls, guild raid boss. So as of right now, here's the pickup info. I'll read it to you guys because this print is very, very small. Here, let me drink a little bit of water here first. Ooh, much better. Okay. So let me read it off to you guys. Pickup info. Okay. So as of right now, Eclipse is rerunning, Celia is rerunning, and Bunny Lowen are rerunning. So Bunny Eclipse reruns until December 30th. Okay, you have a lot of time to decide if you want to roll for her. Masquerade Bunny Celia is running until January 8th. Okay, so until next year. And then Celebrity Bunny Lowen, she is rerunning currently until January 15th of next year. So these are all 3 reruns of the Bunny Girls. I did a video covering on who I would suggest going for. If you want to go check it out, it is on my YouTube playlist for Brownness 2. But I'll just say in summary, I felt the one Bunny Girl that I feel a lot of players should go for. And it's nothing against the other 2, but I would say Celia just because of the chain stacking as of right now. Because chain stacking in Brownness 2 is currently hitting a lot harder. Okay, so that's why I would suggest having her. She might not do a lot of base damage, even with like leveling her gear up and stuff, as much as like Eclipse or Lowen. But it's the chain stacking, in my opinion, that does it for her. And I know that somebody mentioned in a comment on one of my videos saying that you don't necessarily have to have the other 2 costumes for her, but it doesn't hurt to actually have them either, or have them built up. My suggestion, now this is just my suggestion, if you have the Cursed Witch Celia and you have her apprentice Celia costumes, I would suggest leveling up the skill tree just because, or at least level up the SP cost reduction to 3. Not SP. Yeah, SP. Yeah, it's the SP 3. Yeah, it's the SP reduction. I would at least upgrade it to 3 because it is 5 if I'm not mistaken. Um. Oh wait, no, it's the turn. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Apologies. I do apologize. It's the turn count. It decreases to 3 for both the cursed Celia and for her apprentice costume. That goes to 3. That's what you want to reduce because you want to be able to use it like every other turn. I do apologize. Yeah, you want to do it that way. I was trying to remember if it was the SP or if it was the turn. In the skill tree for them, it's one of the two. Regardless, what it is, which one it is, I would level it up so that it's reduced. Okay, but that's my suggestion for her other two costumes. Bunny Lowen, I know that she's a big fan favorite. Um, but the thing with her is she has a lot of SP cost, and not to mention her cooldown time is 9 turns. It's not as bad as Beach Vacation Eclipse, which I'll get into later because they were discussing buffing up a lot of past 5 stars. But I would say still Bunny Lowen. She is strong, yes, for clearing a lot of earlier content because you can just legit nuke everything on the field with the right buffs and the right team layout. But her SP cost is very high, and also her cooldown time is very high. So then you would have to have basically her other two costumes to really make up for it in some ways. But the thing is, she only has 2 other costumes, right? And some of them are extended. I believe the only one that you can do at, I think, a 3-turn cooldown is the track and field one of her, I believe. But totally up to you guys what you want to do with that. Nightmare Bunny Eclipse, in my opinion, she's still excellent for PvP. I still use her for PvP, guys, okay? It's because of her range attack. It's because it goes into that cross shape. That's why it's so nice, because you can get anybody in corners, right? And it's so effective. But she's not as strong as she used to be. But the thing is, her other costumes can make up for it. But, the real heavy hitter is the Beach Vacation one, which, like I said, I'll get into later in the video. But totally up to you guys what you want to do with that, okay? With that information. I just summarized it for you guys. Okay? Okay, so let's get back to it. So, Limited Bittersweet Bunny Darian. She is going to be rerunning, or not rerunning, oh my god, not rerunning, I'm sorry. She's going to be rerunning on December 16th through January 15th. So, basically, like I said, the entire update, okay? She won't be added to the Powder of Hope shop because, guys, limiteds are never added to Powder of Hope. So that's why, if you see a limited, I would either think about it very carefully and go all out for them, right? Or if you just want them for collection purposes, then just unlock them one time, okay? But let's see. Shadow Bunny Elenier. She's going to be debuting on December 16th through December 30th. Okay, so the reason why she's the 30th is because we have tier. Okay, that's the reason. She's going to be added into the Powder of Hope shop, by the way. Okay, so Elenier is going to be in the Powder of Hope shop as well as the Golden Thread shop that resets each month. Okay. And also if she randomly appears in the Mirror War shop and the I think there was one more. No, it's just the Mirror War shop. Okay. As well. Okay, so they are going to be rerunning Robin Hood Zenith in preparation for the Prestige skin, which I'll showcase a little later down the line. And let me tell you, it is very nice. Very worth it, too, by the way. But yeah, so they're rerunning hers because of her Prestige skin. So she's going to be rerunning on December 16th through January 15th. Okay, so basically the entire update. She'll be added into the Powder Hope shop as well. Zenith, in my opinion, she's excellent for Concentrated Fire paired up with Ventana because they're actually a power duo together and very effective against bosses. Okay, so I would highly suggest thinking about going for her, plussing her over time through the Golden Thread shop as well. But +5, she actually doesn't use SP cost anymore. Like it's 0, right? But that's only when you get to +5. Okay, totally up to you guys what you want to do with that though. But yeah, and also keep in mind too, in order to have the prestige skin, equipped, you have to have Robin Hood Zenith. However, with the skill cutscene, I'll say it, again later down the line when I cover it in the video, you don't have to have her. Like, you can actually get the prestige skin and not have her. And that's the beautiful thing about it, okay? That's actually a very beautiful thing, because it's like, if you don't have her but you wanted the prestige skin, you can just get the prestige skin and just have it as an interaction scene and on your wallpaper, or the home screen as wallpaper. So that is really cool, right? But yeah, now the devs did say that in their video they are rerunning male characters. I know, right? Males. But guys, look, male characters have been in the game since day one. I don't have an issue with it. I'm actually all for them doing this. In case you guys want to know which ones are rerunning, it is going to be Dark Knight Lathel. So basically the one that does shield damage. And let me see if I can find the video or find it in the, what's it called here real quick. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys that too. But let me see. It is gonna be. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? My goodness. Okay, you know what? Let me just tell you then. There's a lot of content to go through in the video. Um. Oh wait, hold up. Let me see. Did I have it timestamped over here? I think I did. Okay, it doesn't look like I did. Okay, basically, Dark Knight Lathel is gonna be rerunning. Fiend Scholar Ulstein is going to be rerunning. And then Alex first costume is going to be rerunning. So his base one. And Gray is going to be rerunning. Okay, his base one. So those four, along with their exclusive gears, are all going to be rerunning. Okay. So in case you want to draw for them, which in all honesty, they're not as strong as they used to be. I would say out of the four, Ulstein is the best one, just because he's able to restore SP by like the entire bar when you use his skill. And also, he silences enemies on an AoE scale. So that's another big thing about Ulstein. That's who I would suggest going for. But that's up to you guys, okay? But yeah, so December 16th through December 23rd, Dark Knight Lathel is going to have his rerun. And then December 23rd through January 8th, they're going to be rerunning Overheat Levia. Okay, so Overheat Levia, in my opinion, she wasn't as good when she debuted, just because a lot of it relied on her track and field. Because with Levia, to get the extra damage in, you had to basically sacrifice magic vulnerability or just vulnerability in general in order for her to dish out more damage. And since track and field Levia's cooldown time was, I think, 4 turns, you couldn't really use her Overheat Levia as much. But since Sonya dropped, you can actually now use it more often with her attack, just because with Sonya, her cooldown time for her skill cast is like every other turn, so it's like 3. So like you can actually just cast then Overheat Levia skill, which her cooldown time is 1 turn. So you can use it for every single turn if you really wanted to, and if you have the SP for it. So that's why I say, Overheat Levia, in my opinion now, she should be great. She might not hit as hard now compared to other like fire stat types. But I would suggest going for her just because, you can literally just use her skill every other turn with Sonya activating her vulnerability, right? So I would say she's nice. And she's also an AoE type, okay? She'll also be in the Powder Hove shop as well. So I would suggest getting at least a copy of her, a +1 of her at least. And then if you really want to level her up over time, because I foresee them actually buffing up, because they did talk about it, like I said, and I'll get into later in this video. But they did talk about buffing up a lot of other costumes, so you never know. Overheat Levia might be one of them. So keep that in mind, okay? December 30th through January 15th is the new Innocent Bunny tier. So this is the last of the bunny girls that'll be running. She obviously is going to be in the Powder Hove shop as well. Okay, so there you have it. Their exclusive gears are also connected to the same as their costume pickup schedules. Okay, so same thing with their custom one, their exclusive gears. Okay, guys. So here's the winter pickup schedule. It even shows a picture of it here too as well. On December 16th, Bittersweet Bunny Darian and Shadow Bunny Elanir start their pickup, and on December 30th, Innocent Bunny Tira begin her pickup. Please note that Bittersweet Bunny Darian is a limited costume available for only 4 weeks. Only limited costumes will also be added. Oh my god, I can't read. Other limited bunny costumes will also be available for pickup. And Robin Hood Zenith, the original costume of Prestige Skin Zenith, will be up on pickup for 4 weeks. Additionally, past male costumes are scheduled for 1 week pickups each, which will be explained more below. Oh yeah, so they do have a picture. So like I said, Dark Knight Lathel, Vanguard Grey, Fiend Scholar Olstein, and Swordbreaker Alex. So like I said, in my opinion, like I also said, I'm saying that again. Olstein is the best pick in my opinion. Okay, but that's up to you guys. Okay, their exclusive gears are also going to be rerunning as well. So there you have it. There's the latest with the male characters. Okay. So they also say since the pickup event mission will run alongside it, anyone who has already upgraded all of these characters will receive a total of 204 draw tickets and 80 ancient crystals. Let's get it. So in case you guys don't know what the pickup event missions are, it's basically for every plus that you have on them, right? You're able to collect 10 tickets in return. That's what that means. So basically, when I log into the game, right, when this update happens, I'll be able to collect based on how many I plussed each of them, the amount of tickets in return, which is 10 each. So let's say I plus 5 Dark Knight Lathel, right? I'll get 50 tickets in return. If I plus 5 Vanguard Grey, right, it would be 52. It's the same thing as all of them. Like I said, that's what they do with this event pickup stuff. Unfortunately, I do not have all of them at plus 5 because I never really thought they would rerun them considering what happened with the entire thing with males in the games. So I never really concentrated on them all that much other than Fiend, Scholar, Olstein. But yeah, so if you do have them at plus 5, guys, you're looking for a very, very nice return with tickets here. Okay? So yeah. Let's see here then. So one pickup costume, selected draw. So here is all you need is Bunny. Okay, so the one pick costume selected draw we held for the second anniversary will return in the same format for the 2.5. Now, I didn't actually do this one for myself, but it's something that if you want to really choose one pickup costume, right? Which basically your chances go up. The drop rate goes up, basically. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did do this one. I did it for Office Nebris and Iron Monarch Wilhelmina. I'm sorry, I do apologize. Yes, I did do these. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I did do these two. They do help out a lot, by the way. However, it does use up the selected draw tickets if you want to use those. We actually did get some when they did the the wheel, so you can actually spend them. I actually saved mine up, so I actually did not spend them yet. So I am going to be choosing a costume now where I can have a higher rate of getting it. Because there's two separate types of currency, technically 3 if you include your gems. But 2 of the types of currency, so you can either use your draw tickets, or you can use the selected draw tickets. 2 different types of tickets, however, they both work, okay? So it's totally up to you guys what you want to do with that. I honestly would say if you are lacking a certain character that you want to plus a little bit further, this is actually the best thing that you can do for them, okay? So let's just say, for example, you want an Iron Monarch Wilhelmina at plus 5, right? And you have her at like plus 2. Just click on the selector here. It'll show you her right then and there. Click on her and boom. You can roll away and you'll have a higher drop rate percentage chance of actually getting her, okay? You can change it up to 10 times, okay? So basically, let's just say if you get really lucky and you plus 5 her before these 10 tries are done, like, you can switch on to like Office Nebris, for example, like I did, right? And plus 5 her then too. Okay, but just keep in mind every time you do switch, it actually does like, decrease the number of times you can switch. So don't forget that, okay? Do not forget that. Okay, so the 12 pick gear selected draw. Okay, so this was something I was very, very excited for. A lot of us were actually waiting for this to be a thing. So basically, much like the 12 pick for the selected draw character costumes, this is for the weapons. Works the same way. You select the 12 that you want, right? It increases their draw rate, and then you just go at it with the drawing, okay? You can use your selected draw tickets. It's basically the same tickets for like the 1 pick for the costume, except you'll be using it for your gear. So, hope you guys saved yours, okay? But then again, they are going to be having more tickets with this during the 500 free pulls of 50 days events. So you should be able to get a lot more during this, okay? But yeah, just select the 12 that you want, okay? 12 that you don't have in your collection, and go at it, okay? You can select 12 desired 5 UR exclusive gears with a 3% chance to obtain one of the 12, and at the 100 draw pity, you'll randomly receive a 5-star UR gear. It works the same, as the existing 12 pick selected draw, which is the one I was just talking about, okay? The biggest advantage of this draw is that you can use selected draw tickets to obtain exclusive gear. So that's really nice, guys, okay? So I would highly consider, looking into this when it does happen, okay? Okay, guys, so right now we're going to be going into some more cutscene updates. So these cutscenes are actually the ones that they added where costumes didn't have theirs. So this one I was very happy with because I love Celia, okay? I love Eclipse, and I love the fact that the two of them are always together, right? So this is the one based off of her last costume that we didn't get it for, which is the curse. So here's the curse, Celia, and I'll demonstrate it for you right now, in fact. Okay, so let's get to it. Let me demonstrate. Here it is. So this is her skill cutscene. And let me rewind a little bit. Here it is. So there she is, guys. That is our girl Celia, the curse. Now, mind you guys, this is Celia when she's like grown up fully, right? So there you have it. I'm very, very happy. All you Celia lovers out there are eating good with this update, so you can finally now have all 3 skill cutscenes, be a thing now. And let me go charge my mouse. I was looking for my wire. I know, I use a wireless mouse, guys, okay? Okay, there we go. So there you have it, guys. There she is. Okay, and if we now look into, and by the way, I do love it a ton. I'm so excited to use Celia's the curse now, which, more often now. So here we have Steel Engine Rafina, which I'll show now as well. So here we go.
Wow. Honestly, Rafina Steel scene. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, let's see the next costume skill cutscene.
So there's Rafina. So Rafina finally got her other skill cutscene now that she never had. If you don't remember or don't recall, they actually released a previous one of hers too, which was the one that was used in the spy. It was the one character pack story. Oh my god, what was it called? It was basically the spy one with Shada and Elise in it as well, and that was the one that covered Rafina. It was the one that had the big Gundam looking character build basically in the background. That was her other skill cutscene. So they released her second one this year because they released that one back in the summer. The one that I'm talking about with her. So that's still Engine Rafina. And this is Night of Blood Yusti. I know, they covered her up. Isn't that crazy? They actually covered her up. But here we go, guys. So they don't have it currently, they said, during the live stream. However, they do have the images for her. So obviously this will be all ready for you guys and for myself when the anniversary does happen. We'll be able to see the entire skill cutscene. This is the one where the costume that she has, which is basically the one that you unlock for free in the game, in the story events, or in the main story, when she bites Lathel's arm to get blood. Okay, so this is it. This is the one right here. I know she's in heat. She's definitely in heat, right, guys? But there you have it. That is Yustia's final costume skill cutscene, because all the other ones have it but this one. So we finally now have all 5. Because I believe she has 5 costumes, right? She has Gluttony, um, her beach one, her bikini one, her poolside one, I mean. Um, this one, Night of Blood. Um, I forgot what the first one was called, but that's the 4th one. That's like the very first one you get in the game. And her kendo one, and then her kendo one, you have it. So now we have all 5 guys. Okay. And loop cutscenes will be added for all. Loop cutscenes will be added for a total of 62 costumes. That's crazy. Okay, loop cutscenes. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it. So there they have it. The added loop animations to existing costumes. Okay, there they all are. They even have some males in there too. So yeah, looking forward to it, guys. There it is. Okay. So there you have it. They even have the Seven Kagura girls here. And also the Tensai one, which is the one that's based off of Eris and... Oh my god, I forgot her name. You know who I mean, right? It was basically the rerun that they just did back in October. They have those collaboration characters as well. I can't believe I forgot her name. But yeah, there you guys have it, okay? Okay, guys, so new fated guest, Nightmare Bunny Eclipse. Finally, we've been waiting for this to happen. I know during the summer, a lot of people were saying in that live stream chat they wanted Eclipse. And guess what, guys? Our voices were heard, and here she is. And yes, I'll actually show some of the skill cutscene for you guys, but let's read it first. Okay. So Eclipse is finally coming as a fated guest. We went back and forth between a wedding concept like Dream Bride and Bunny, but in the end, we just couldn't pass up Nightmare Bunny, one of the founding costumes of the game, which is true. This story presents a tender romance that showcases Eclipse's feminine allure. We wanted to naturally capture how their feelings for each other grow and deepen as they move back and forth between the diner and Eclipse's bar. So it seems like what's going to happen is, since we are married to her, right? Right? The self-insert male, right, character that we have in the diner is married to Eclipse. I think that's what they're trying to showcase with this one. Oh wait, no, this is gonna be a natural story, which probably leads into, you know, the entire bridal eclipse theme. Yeah, I think this is what that's supposed to lead into. Okay, so this is basically gonna be the storytelling of Eclipse here with the master of the Gloopy Diner, which is us, and when we put that ring on her, right? Which leads into her bridal costume. You know, the one that was the other +5 one that was for free during the summer. So I'm very much looking forward to this story. They do excellent work when it comes to the VN romance. Like, no joke. I've been seeing so much improvement over the course of their fated guest stories that I always get so, like, you know, into them. You know what I mean? So that I'm very excited for this story. So here we have Eclipse here. God, she is so beautiful. I know. I'll be showing you guys the uncensored version here real quick. So here, let me show you guys. Okay.
Honestly, she's one of our.
So here's Eclipse here, and also Gami goes on and says that, you know, he finally let her go. He finally was gonna let her go because Eclipse was actually one character of Gami's here that he actually adored and held very high regards for. I mean, he still does, but he was saying that, you know, it's time that, you know, he lets her go, her wings go soaring, you know, as a joke, right? But like, he was also serious too, you know. After all, Eclipse is, you know, one of the costumes in the game that's like, she's an OG, guys. She really is. She's the one of the founder OGs of the game of Brown Dust 2. Okay, so this is actually it's actually a very special moment for a lot of veterans too out there that have had Bunny Eclipse since she debuted. So this should, in a lot of ways, not just be for, it won't just be great for like the spiciness content, because believe me, this is going to be spicy, okay? But it's also because it's a nostalgic feeling, right? And you're going back and you're like, damn, it's Eclipse. It's Eclipse. You know, there she is. Okay, so let me showcase the skill cutscenes. And yes, guys, your eyes aren't deceiving you. This is a lot of the poses that you're going to be able to see. And I'll also discuss what they're going to be doing new with mobile users, okay? It actually made me want to get a tablet. This is going to be very, 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 very spicy. I can assure you that. And yes, I am going to be showcasing it on my Twitch channel as well for you guys when when I stream the event. Okay? So here he's going to showcase a little bit. So don't lose focus.
So we had to work on the images more. So let's dive right into it. Okay, first of all, when you first start with the touch, you can actually pat her head or her face, and you can also touch her breast, but then in the live demo, we're not going to be showing this, we're skipping.
I know, unfortunately, they can't show, us, fun bagging her with her boobs here right now. But like I said, I'll showcase it for you guys on the the debut of her beta guest story, okay?
And then I think that this was one of the new interactions that you really liked, or the previous interactions that you really liked. You can actually massage her.
Yes, massage her stomach.
Yes.
Her belly.
So you can also touch her left thigh, or maybe smack it. And you can also hear the sound. Yeah, it's so mochi-like. So please check when you're playing the interaction. And let's take a look at the gyroscope sensor. So the interaction that you can use with this sensor is, I think it was on the right side. So please touch the right side thigh.
So you see how like her expressions changes and stuff. This is actually one thing I loved a lot when it came to a lot of these interaction scenes. It was a lot of their facial expressions that you see when you look at their faces, guys, okay? And not just their titties and ass. But when you look at their faces, you can actually see, a lot of the expressions that they hold. And I actually love that really big detail about them. Because obviously you see Eclipse's eyes are like, whoa, right? It's very excellent, and I love it a lot. And yes, we are tearing, her her fishnets here.
And then if you touch it, you can see that the hands have actually changed. So let us see it once again. So if you touch both of the thighs, then on the belly, you can see that there is a different motion. And if you touch the motion at the right timing,
I know, right? It's like, damn, right? Okay, so let me show you a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, there's different positions that you can look at with her, as well, okay? Believe me, there's a lot that you can do with the clips here. A lot. And also, the new feature I wanted to tell you about was, so basically what he's doing right now is showcasing, if you have a tablet, and I'm sure it's even on mobile, your phones, if you have the game on your phone, you can actually, like, when you lift up the tablet or lift up the phone, like in the air, let's just say you're on your back, it actually moves the positioning of Eclipse where she's actually in this position, showcasing that she's actually on top of you. And then when you do it when you're looking forward and down, right, her position changes again. It's actually a really, really nice and really cool concept that they did here. And I really love how, like, this is actually more friendly now to mobile users or people that use tablets here. And that's why I said it makes me want to get a tablet. See, he's showcasing it right now.
God. 정보.
I know. Obviously. Yeah, so the more you shake it, obviously she's humping that carrot right there.
Oh my God.
네. 이런 히든 상호작
and now if you kind of shake your device,
Oh my God. 정보.
I'm telling you, man, Brown Does 2 hits so different than any other mobile game out there when it comes to interaction scenes. I'm sorry, guys, in case you guys don't see this, but like, it really does. Or I should say I'm not sorry, because like, let's just face it. Brownless 2's interaction and their fan service is the best I have seen in a mobile game. Okay? Hands down, it has. They really go all out for this, okay? It's hands down some of the best that I've ever seen, okay? I'm not just saying this because I'm a Brownless 2 lover, okay? I'm really saying it because, like, I haven't really seen any other mobile game or gacha game really do something like this. That isn't a hentai, okay? I'm just saying, you know, this in itself is incredible, okay? I'm just saying, as somebody that loves content like this, you know, it is something that I've seen, okay? Over you know, the entire time I played the game. For like over, I mean, how long have I played this game for? It's been a while. Okay, guys, so let's keep the show rolling here, right?
Oh my god.
네. 이런 히든 상호작용도
There are
같이
hidden
감상하실 수
interactions.
있습니다.
You can also enjoy those
네, 몸을
interactions
흔들어야
when you
됩니다.
shake.
네, 열심히
So
흔들어야
you have to
되고요.
do really
다시
good at it.
자이로 모드로 바꿔주시고
And then you can also
이제는
switch to gyroscope
디바이스를
mode.
아래로
And then you can pull down your
내리면
devices. And then she's going to be in her original pose.
You see that? So when he bends down with the tablet, we have her now on her back. And yes, it does get spicier too.
But then, now you can see that it has changed.
네. 이번에는 우리가
And
우리가
we
이클립스를
are going to be
어떻게
on
하는
top
자세로
of her,
바뀌게 됩니다.
not beneath
네.
her.
네. 여기서부터는
So there you have it, guys. So that's the showcasing of what we're going to be seeing in the future from now on with interaction scenes with Fated Guest. And by the way, guys, this interaction scene is completely free. So you only need to unlock her one time by pulling her once, and then you'll have it for life. Like, for real. You'll have it for good. Okay? And you'll be able to go back into the story if you want to, replay it, enjoy the immersive VN with it, right? And obviously, Fated Guest stories also have at least 3 to 4 types of art along with it that you can add to your home screen if you want to. Okay? So that's also, you're not just getting the interaction scene and the spiciness out of it, right? And the different poses, etc., right? But you're also getting wallpaper along with it. So it is actually insane how generous Brownless 2 is with their community when it comes to this type of content, okay? Excellent work, but there you have it, okay? I'm going to go through a little bit more with Fated Guest. Tyr is also the second Bunny Girl, because they did say there's going to be at least 3 to 4 Fated Guests for the 2.5, and they were right about this. Okay, so here's Tyr. They don't showcase demo play of her, but it does show where I'm assuming this is the actual interaction scene, where much like how Morphia was asleep in hers, I think they're running kind of the same thing with Tyr. It looks like we're in a log cabin of some sort. Okay, so it's going to be an incredible VN along with this one as well. Okay, guys? So, let's see. Yeah, follow-up stories for existing Fated Guests. So, we're going to be having Morphia, Lowen, and Nebris. So, here you guys go. So, they're talking about basically Nebris's. This was something that was already revealed over on the Reddit page. But Morphia's and Lowen's weren't. Only Nebris's was. Only reason why we knew about Nebris was because of that award show that they hosted not long ago in Korea. So in case you guys want to see some of it, here is a screenshot of Nebris. Yes, her tits are poking out of her shirt. It is not a lie. She is not wearing a bra, guys. You can clearly see that. The reason why you could say is because she's already in a relationship with us, right? So the thing is, she's more hands-free. She's more like forward. And in case you guys don't know Nebris's personality, she is a very fun, outgoing Yaru type girl. That's who she is. And that's a lot of the reason why a lot of us love Nebris, is because she has that personality that, like, it's just like you just want to be with her, right? So this is her right here. So here you have it. Here is Morphia's. So Morphia's also going to be getting some more story. Okay, so very much looking forward to Morphia. And yes, She is also a free +5, so in case you guys did not unlock her and you're new, you can actually just log into the game even right now, in fact, and just claim her for +5ing her, because she is like last year's pick for a free +5. Okay, so right off the bat, you could have another interaction scene along with added story to her. So very lucky, guys. Okay. So there's Morphia, Nebris, and damn, Morphia's huge, right? She's a massive pair. Okay, and then this is Lowen. So obviously Lowen is she's up against the bar with her ass hanging out. So obviously Lowen is a little bit more, I would say at this point Lowen is more in discovering her, let's just say her sexy side, guys. And she's experimenting, obviously, with the master of the Gloopy Diner, which is us. So yeah, she's getting to be a little bit more forward and more like, used to this type of like feel. Okay, it's the best way I can word that, guys. Okay, guys. So here is the prestige skin for our girl Zenith, who's also going to be appearing in the event story of the Winter Pack. So enjoy the interaction scene. This is her right here. Obviously, she's really holding that arrow between her titties. Okay, guys, so let's hear it. Let's see it, guys. So this is the interaction scene. It's going to showcase a little bit of it. Very spicy. Enjoy.
It's raised. That alone already maxes out the dopamine bar. And that's just the start of the interaction. You know the Brown Dust 2's philosophy is that our shadows must contain emotion, and now the Hunter Zenith is one being hunted by the fans. So we need to aim carefully and fire away.
네. 명암에는 명암, 밝고 어두움,
So
철학이 있다.
there's a
라고
shadow,
했는데
there's a bright side and the
어디에
dark
그런
side. There's a
명암이
philosophy according
잘
to.
Okay, so obviously she's handcuffed here. You guys can't see it though, but she is actually handcuffed. I'll showcase a little bit more here. So enjoy.
알았고요.
There's no
첫
gyro
페이지를 먼저
sensor
보게 되면은
applied, but if you
이런
look
식으로
at
아까 스킬 컷신에서
first
봤던
page,
이미지에서 바로 시작하게 됩니다.
you start
이렇게
from the skill cutscene that you just saw.
손으로
So using your
이런 식으로
hand,
아이고
you can grab her,
마사지를
massage
해줄 수
her.
있고요. 네, 마사지입니다. 다리가
It's
좀
a
뭉쳐 있는
massage.
것 같으니까
Her legs look a little bit tight.
네, 마사지 잘 해주시기
So
바라고요.
massage her, please.
여기 이제 얼음 조각으로 어떤
And
장난을
then
칠 수 있을지
switch to
한번
the
보면
ice
얼음을 클릭하고
piece.
다리 쪽을 터치해주면
And then you touch her legs.
이런 식으로
I know, right? They're really showcasing this ass of Zenith. Like a lot of people in the community already felt that Zenith's booty was like one of the best in the game still, and they're really emphasizing it for the community here.
아이고 다리로 얼음을
Oh,
녹여버리면
wow.
It's her legs.
Her legs are melting the ice flake.
아,
So that it can melt
그리고
the thick pole.
이 상호작용에서
Oh yeah, by the way, real quick thing about this. So you can actually now change the voiceover to like Korean or Japanese if you want to just do it for like the interaction scenes. And yeah, that's what the button there is for. Okay?
하단에
And
언어
here,
설정이 있는데
and even choose
여기서
the
한국어로
language at the
설정하시면
bottom. So if you choose Korean,
터치했을 때
when you touch her,
언어도 같이 들으실 수 있습니다.
you can hear the dubbing, the voiceover in the selected language.
아까 이클립스도 똑같습니다. 네,
The same for
이클립스도
the Eclipse's
한국어로 하시면
interaction.
이런
If you choose
효과음을
Korean, then
같이 들으실 수 있습니다.
you'll hear her in
자이로 할 때부터 했어야
Korean.
됐는데 너무 후회되네요.
I should have
계속
selected different
이어가면은
languages earlier with the
이
gyro,
얼음
right?
조각으로
Yeah.
입에다가
So you can even put the ice flake in the
이걸 다 또
mouth.
녹여서
녹여서 물이 나오게 하는
녹여서 물 나오게 하네요.
She's going to melt
녹여서
the ice
물이
flake with
나오게
her
하네요.
mouth,
Yeah.
and then you can see the water melting.
Yeah, it's like the settings.
It's very detailed. You gotta admit. I know that's a crystal being stuffed into her mouth, but like you gotta admit the detail of the actual water driplets going down here, her face, is very detailed.
Are
그리고
going to be matter. Will matter.
물론 이 바스트 장난을 칠
And
수 있긴
also,
한데
You can play
그거는
with her
직접
breast as
해보시기
well, but
바라고요.
I'm not gonna do that
이렇게
here. So please find out yourself.
얼굴을 터치했더니
If you
굉장히
touch her
제니스의
face,
체온이 조금씩
her
올라가는 것 같습니다.
temperature looks
그래서
like her temperature is
계속 얼굴에
going
장난을
up.
치면은
If you play around with her face, she's being heated up.
미니 게임이
Oh, now then you see mini game. So you're heating her up.
아이고.
Oh wow.
I know, right? Let's clap it up so far, right? But it ain't done here.
네. 이 얼굴을 막 뜨겁게 해줬더니
So you
얼음 수갑이 녹아버렸어요.
made her heat up with by touching her face, and then
도와준
now
거죠.
she's
이
lying
굉장히
her face down.
공격적인
And then you can
제니스
take the handcuff
이
out.
하체를 보실 수 있는데
You can see
여기서
her
터치를 한번 하면
bottom part and also legs, and you can touch her.
너무
Yep. And there it is. There you have it. That is where she lays it all bare for us to enjoy and, well, experiment with. She laid it all bare here, guys, okay? The only thing that's coming between us and this little strip is, well, this little strip. Okay, so pay very close attention also to her face here, because this is actually one detail I was like, damn. Okay? And also, notice how, like, her neck is beet red. It actually is.
어디까지 과격해지는지 정말 깜짝 놀라게 되는데
I'm not gonna go too far.
여기서
How
이제
far
이
can we go
페이지가
here?
시작이 되고요.
And then here phase 2
얼음
begins.
수정과 이
And using the
입술로
ice flake and using
어디에도
also
여러
the
가지
mouth,
상호작용들 해보시기 바랍니다.
the
그리고
lips,
저는
you can
마지막으로
play with
한
this
가지 힌트만 더
interaction.
드리도록 하겠습니다.
And one more hint here.
여기 왼쪽에 얼음이 있는데요.
And then on the left
여기를
side
계속
there's
클릭을 하면은
ice. And then you keep clicking the ice, you keep hitting the ice, the ground.
네. 이렇게 얼음 조각이 떨어지게 되는데
And ice flakes
네.
will fall
빨리
on
넘어가겠습니다.
her. I'm gonna move on
이걸로
fast.
뭘 할 수 있는지는 여러분들의 상상에
I'll
맡기도록
leave it up to your
하겠습니다.
imagination what you can
네.
do.
So obviously very spicy, and yes, he does say at the end that you can actually do things with those icicles that actually fall. So there you have it. That is the prestige skin for Zenith. Okay, so there you have it. Very excellent job with the prestige skin, and I am going to be showcasing it to you guys over on my Twitch channel as well. Hopefully I don't get banned on Twitch for showing you all this stuff, but you know what? I love Brown Dust 2. I love showcasing the content. I love talking about the game. So I am very, very excited to show you all of it laid bare before your eyes, okay? But yeah, so that's the Prestige skin. I gotta say, you know, my thoughts on it is like, yes, in a lot of ways, even though, you know, these Prestige skins are costume gacha based, the thing is, they offer so much more than like other ones do. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, other games, Prestige or costumes or interaction scenes are bad. I'm just saying that Brown Dust 2's it just hits very differently. Obviously, you can clearly tell the direction they go in when they you know do interaction scenes and faded guest stories and stuff like that lead into it, right? It's very different, but it does accomplish what it's supposed to, right? So I'm very hyped for it, and that's why I say, you know, Brown Dust 2 is like the #1 game that has interaction scenes with it. Now, when it comes to the price of it, depending on how your luck is with this, you can pay up to like, I know, unfortunately, it's around like 60 to 70 bucks, but you know, you can get very lucky and get it for like $7, because when I did Teresa's, I was very fortunate and I actually got it for $7, okay? But like, that's what I'm saying, you know. I'd say there's a lot more to it than like, let's say Nikkei's like $60 one where you don't actually get this type of content. Yes, Nikkei's, you know, limited costumes look really nice and detailed. Don't get me wrong with that, you know. But it's not worth that price in my eyes. However, when it comes to Brown Dust 2, now I'm not defending the price. Don't think I am, okay, because I'm not. But I'm just saying that it at least offers a lot more that you can do with it, right? Including the interaction scene, including it as a home screen background as well, that you can just go straight into the interaction scenes with. Okay, that's all I'm saying with it, okay? But yeah, there you have it. There's the Prestige skin with that, okay? Now I'm gonna go straight into the let's see. This is actually a really big thing that was dropped. It was so massive of a drop among other things. Okay, it's the new field content. So basically, this is gonna be called Fantasia Square 3D MMO style um, lobby. Okay, so your eyes will just see it right away. So let's get into it. So I'll talk while they showcase this. So this is Fantasia Square. So this is actually where now we're going to be able to meet other players. We're going to be interacting with them. You're going to be able to choose an avatar. So this is Terese, for example. We see a lot of Libertas on the field. Eleanor is here as an NPC. Leatrice is going to be an avatar that you can choose from. So yeah, so as of right now, Terese, Leatrice, and Liberta are the ones that you'll be able to choose from. Because they even say it too. But yeah, so you're able to jump, which is crazy. But look at the detail on it. Isn't that crazy? The detail on this is actually phenomenal. God, I'm so excited for this. And you see Liberta, she's riding a bike. Like I said, man, they're going all out with a lot of these like ideas that they're like literally like writing down for a lot of us. Here's another like form of Liberta. I love it. It's so cute too, right? They got the Christmas theme, which is also going to be in the update. It's going to be a Christmas theme with the MMO lobby style here, right? And God, I'm going to enjoy doing this so much. I really am. Okay, so let's see.
You can lay on the benches, you can sit on the benches and chill.
저 자전거 할 때 탁 이렇게 기대는 거 너무 귀여운데요.
네. 디테일을
It's so
봐주셨네요.
cute to
네,
to
팩에
lean.
진입을
Yeah.
하면
Did you see, like, when
유스티아의
riding a
오프닝
bike?
스토리를 보실 수
You also saw the
있습니다.
details.
판타지아
Now, when you enter
스퀘어는
the pack, you'll
다양한
see
세계와
Yustia's
이어진
opening story.
거대한
Fantasia
광장으로
Square is this
유스티아가
massive plaza
엘리노어의
connected
안내에
to
따라
multiple worlds,
의상을
and
추천받는
you'll see
장면을
Yustia
보실
getting
수
outfit
있습니다.
recommendations from Eleanor.
네, 판타지아 스퀘어에 오셔서
And the
처음에
very
할 일은
first thing
내
you'll do in
아바타
Fantasia
캐릭터를
Square is
선택하고
pick your
의상을
avatar
꾸미는
character.
일입니다.
You should also
모든 아바타
customize your
캐릭터는
outfit as well.
3D로 제작이
And all
됐어요.
avatars
아까
are newly
화면도
built
다
in full
3D였었고
3D.
그래서 캐릭터
At launch,
움직임이
you'll
좀
have
부드러웠을
Teresi,
겁니다.
Liberta, and Leatrice with
3D로
more
이렇게
avatars
쉽게
added
제작이
over
되고
time. So
오픈
you can
시점에는
see that the
테레제,
3D has been
리베르타,
newly created,
리아트리스까지
and
총
you can
3명의
see that
캐릭터가
three
제공이 되고
avatars that are going to
이후에도
be provided
캐릭터는
at the
꾸준히
very first
업데이트
entrance.
예정입니다.
And we are going to be
이
updating the
화면은
characters one by
다양하게
one
이제
going
꾸며본
forward.
아바타
You can
캐릭터들인데요.
also
12월에는
prepare
크리스마스의
outfits and
컨셉
accessories for
의상과
these characters.
아이템들을
And this time
준비해봤고
we have prepared a
앞으로도
Christmas
재밌는
themed
의상과
outfit and
아이템들을
accessory for
많이
December.
선보일
And we will
예정입니다.
keep adding fun costumes and out items.
귀여워.
Oh, they're so cute.
Dude, it is so adorable, man. Like, look at them all. You got the Christmas themed outfits as well, right? Leatrice is in her looks like her Mrs. Claus. You got Liberta and looks like a reindeer. You got Terese in her like winter themed as well. This is too adorable, right?
귀여워, 귀여워,
Oh my god. Insanely
네.
cute.
Mhm.
이렇게 춤을 추면 그에 맞는
Yeah, you can see
음악도
them
같이
dancing,
흘러나오고요.
and the matching
인사를
music
하거나
plays as
바닥에
well.
앉거나
You can also wave, sit
여러
on the
가지가
ground,
준비돼
and there's
있으니까, 네,
a lot
재밌게
of motions
즐겨주세요.
prepared, so I hope you enjoy.
네, 그리고 이제 광장
And then at
중앙에는
the center
이렇게
of the
여신
plaza, you can see the statue
아일렉시온의
of
동상이
goddess
있습니다.
Ilexion.
여신상에게
If you
하루에
pray
한
at the
번
statue
소원을 빌 수
once a
있고,
day,
은총을
you can
받을 수
receive a
있는데
random
그러면 이제
blessing.
골드나
It could be
재련가루,
either
데코코인,
gold,
뽑기권,
refining
등
powder,
어떤
deca
이벤트,
coins,
랜덤
draw
보상 중에서
tickets, and
하나를
etc.
Look at that. So like the draw ticket is a 5% chance of getting it though. But everything else you do have ample opportunity to get. Gold is a 50% chance. Looks like the powder for refining powder is a 30% chance, and then the deck of coins you can get from between 10 to 50 coins. It's a 15% chance of getting it, and then 5% chance for the gotcha or the drawing tickets.
You can actually pick one of those.
네.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to say this. I had a little scuff moment in my mind. But the other Faded Guest story and the other Prestige skin, they are actually going to be added in January. They didn't showcase them, okay, because they don't have them out yet for us to view. but those two are gonna be added next month. Okay, I forgot to add that in. I do apologize. So yes, you're gonna be getting, or we're all gonna be getting, a total of 3 faded guest stories and 2 prestige skins. Okay, forgot to mention that. But I believe they also go and talk about it. Yeah, see, they have a new faded guest and prestige skin here. We're gonna be getting that a little bit later into the actual like game itself, oh my god, into the actual stream. I'll talk a little bit more about it. Okay, but let's just I'm gonna let them just talk this out to you guys a little bit more because they do a better job at explaining it. Okay, because this is an entirely new type of direction they're going with this. Okay.
그리고 여기는 이제
And the
명예의
next
전당입니다.
is the Hall of
마블
Fame.
추적자,
You'll
길드레이드,
see the
거울
statues of the
전쟁,
first, second,
그리고
and third
최근에
place
업데이트된
players from the
골든
Fiend Hunter,
콜로세움까지
Guild
1,
Raid,
2, 3
Mirror
등의
War, and the
동상이
newly updated
채워져
Golden
있고,
Colosseum.
기존 단상
And like
앞에서
before,
앞에
you
가면
can
받을
claim
수
the
있는
same
보상
ranking
있잖아요.
rewards
그거를 이제
here.
여기서 한꺼번에 다 받으실 수 있습니다.
You can get all of the
그리고
rewards here
단상에
at the
비석을
Hall of Fame,
터치하면
and if you
어,
tap the
이쪽
monument,
화면처럼
like you see on the
컨텐츠들의
right
통합
side of the
랭킹
screen,
화면을
you can view
한눈에
the
보실 수
integrated
있습니다.
ranking board for all modes.
네, 다음은 채팅이고요.
Next is chat.
판타지아 스퀘어에
Players
같은
in the same
채널에
channel can
머무르는
chat with each other,
유저분들끼리 채팅이 가능하고
and
캐릭터의 머리
messages
위에
appear
말풍선으로 뜨고
above the characters'
좌측에
heads
이제
and
고정
in the fixed
채팅창에
chat
메시지가
panel
표시가
on the
됩니다.
left side of the screen.
저쪽 화면에 보이는 것처럼
As you can see on
이모티콘과
this screen,
키워드
there are
채팅도
emojis,
가능하고
keyword chats that are
차단이랑
possible,
모식과 같은
and of course,
기능들도 같이
block and
지원이
report
됩니다.
functions are supported.
그리고 이 부분도 저도 굉장히 개인적으로 기대를 하고
And
있는데
personally, I'm really looking
1월에는
forward to this
실시간 번역
function,
기능도
but coming in
추가가 될
January, there
예정입니다.
will be a real-time
서로 다른
translation
언어를
service
사용하는
provided.
유저분들
If someone
간에
chats in a different
소통에
language,
불편함이
it will
없도록
automatically
내가
appear
설정한
in your set
언어와
language.
다른 언어를 사용한
So if there are
채팅이
different
자동
languages that are
번역돼서
spoken
보여지게
by
되고요.
different users, you can still
판타지아 스퀘어 광장
see the
내에서의
translation in
채팅도
real
있고
time.
그리고
This will
기존
work in
길드
Fantasia Square
채팅창에서도
and
실시간
Guild
번역을
Chat as
지원할
well.
예정입니다. 여기까지가
Now that
말씀드린
covers the
판타지아
basic
스퀘어의
updates
기본
for
기능들이었고요.
Fantasia Square.
첫 번째 컨텐츠를
Now, let's
소개해드리겠습니다.
talk about the first content.
와우, 와우,
Wow. Oh my.
네, 드디어 낚시가 들어가네요.
Fishing is finally
드디어.
happening.
드디어 들어갑니다. 네. 광장의 우측으로
That's
이동하시면
right. Now, on the
부둣가가
right side
준비되어
of the
있어요.
plaza, you'll find the
여기서
dock,
배를 타고
and from
낚시
here,
지역으로
you
이동하실
can
수
ride
있습니다.
boats to the fishing zones.
네. 오프닝 스토리로
Yeah,
모험의
as the
항로
opening
NPC였던
story,
스페티
We have
기억하시나요?
Spetty featuring as the
스페티가
NPC
등장을
from
해서
Path
낚시에
of
대해서
Adventure,
알려주고요.
who teaches you the
저쪽에
basics
인연하면
of fishing.
부둣가는
And you
낚시터로
can see the
출발하기
dock
전에
here.
낚시
This is where you
채비를 하는
prep your
장소입니다.
gear before you go fishing.
네, 낚시 지역을 선택하는
This is the
지도고요.
map where you choose your
오픈
fishing
시점에는
area.
낚시 지역
At
총
launch,
세 곳이
there will be
제공이
3
됩니다.
fishing zones.
맵마다 낚을 수
Each
있는
map has
물고기가 다
different
다르고요.
fish,
각 지역별로
and each zone has 14
물고기를 낚을
species.
수 있습니다. 오픈 시점에는 싱글
At
플레이만
launch,
지원을
fishing
하는데
is single
이후에는
player,
낚시 멀티플레이도
but multiplayer
지원할
fishing
예정이고요.
will come in
1월 업데이트를
January.
목표로 만들고 있으니까 조금만 기다려 주세요.
So please stay tuned.
네, 모든 채비를 마치고 출항하면 드디어
Once your gear
낚시를
is
진행할 수
ready, you can
있는데요.
finally head
낚시
out and
지역은
fish.
크게 이렇게
The fishing
낮과
areas has
두 가지
nighttime and
시간대로
daytime,
나뉘고요.
2 different time
현실
zones,
시간
and
30분
switching
단위로
every 30
낮밤이
minutes in
변경이
real
됩니다.
time, from day to night and night to
낮밤에
day.
따른
The
물고기가 다
different fish
다르니까
appear
시간
depending
체크도
on the time,
중요한
so
부분입니다.
timing really matters.
네, 실제 낚시를 하는 장면이고요.
This is the screen of
캐스팅
actual
버튼을
fishing.
길게
Now hold the
누르면
cast
게이지가
button to
차오르고
charge the
버튼에
gauge,
손을 떼면
release to
이제
throw
낚싯대를
the line,
던지고요. 높은 게이지 수치가
and
나올수록
higher
대형
gauge means
물고기가
higher
등장할
chance of
확률이
getting bigger
높아집니다.
fish.
그리고 이제 낚시를
And when you
시작해서
get a
낚시를 하고 있는
bite,
장면인데요.
tap to start. This is the
게이지바
actual
위를
screen of
왕복하는 바늘이 이렇게
fishing.
있는데
There is going to be a
파란
pointer
게이지,
moving
그리고
along the
노란
gauge
게이지에
bar.
딱
There is
멈췄을 때
yellow and blue
터치를 하면
gauges, and
성공을
when you
하고
touch,
물고기를
then you will be
당겨오게
successfully
됩니다.
pulling the fish in.
낚시에 성공하면 동일한
When you
종류의
catch a fish,
물고기라도
even the same
최대
species
범위
can
내에서
come in
서로
different
다른 크기로
sizes. You
획득하실
can
수
gain
있습니다.
fishing EXP with each
그리고 또
catch, and leveling
물고기를
up your
잡을
fishing
때마다
level
낚시
increases
경험치를
your
얻을 수
related
있고
stats.
일정 경험치에 도달을 하면 낚시 레벨이
Okay, so you saw a little bit about it, right? So it's going to be fishing added into this as well. And they're also going to be having an aquarium, as you can clearly see. I know, right? Look at Terese. She's like, whoa, right? So I hope it explained a little bit better than I would have done it. But yeah, so there you have it, guys. This is the latest that we're going to be looking forward to with the Fantasia Square. I'm very, very excited to say the least with it. I'm very, very hyped for this as well. So something to look forward to, right? They're really moving in a big direction with like the different themes here. Very big direction. And it's actually looking very positive too with the content that they're going to be dishing out here. So like I said, any new players that want to try out the game and want to see, you know, what it has to offer, I would highly recommend you download it. Okay? I would really highly recommend you at least try it out and see if you like it and enjoy it, because I know you guys are going to like this. I know you're going to love the game. In all honesty, you guys are going to love it. Interaction scenes, obviously fan service is there as well. But you also get to see the different mini games that they add over time too. And also this new feature now, this new content in general. Completely breathtaking, right? It really is. Okay. Now we're gonna hop into the combat balance adjustments. So I'm gonna let them talk about it for a little bit, and then I'll talk about it then afterwards. Okay.
First, balance adjustments and new shop items.
다음 보여주세요.
네,
Next, please.
먼저
Thank you.
전투 밸런스 조정부터
Yes, first is
말씀드릴게요.
about combat
드리겠습니다.
balance adjustment.
이전에
As
말씀드렸던
previously
안젤리카
mentioned, Angelica's
경우에는
HP
생명력 비례
scaling
효과가
cap was
이번에 상한치가
increased from
3만에서
30,000 to
5만으로 조정이 됩니다.
50,000.
그래서 코스튬 3개
So
모두
all three
상향
of her
효과를 보게
costumes
되었고요.
received buffs.
그 외에도 화면에
And
보이는
other than that, as you can see on the
밸런스가
screen, there are
조정이 됩니다.
costume balances that
그리고
have been
종말에서
adjusted.
상한 점수가
And the last
35에서
night's score
70까지
cap
확대가
is
됩니다.
being raised from
앞으로도
3.5 billion to
0.5주년
7
주기에
billion.
맞춰서
We'll
전투
continue
밸런스
adjusting
조정과
combat
함께
balance along
종말에서
with the
보상도
rewards of the last
정기적으로
night every
확장해
half
나갈
anniversary.
예정입니다.
This will be a continuous update.
네, 그리고 거울 전쟁 상
Okay, so so they actually showed some costumes here that are going to be getting combat balance adjustments. So like I was saying earlier with Overheat Levia, right? Remember how I was saying with Sonya and everything, that she'll be able to now use her abilities more often. So you do see Overheat Levia looks like one of the choices with this combat balance adjustments. You also see Bunny Morphia, which was the free +5 from last year, which you can still get. Even as a new player, you can still get her at +5 if you log in. Also, Dalvi, our girl Summer Dalvi. She's also another +5 that was free in the summer event that they had. When was that? I think that was last year as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so she was the other +5 one that you got for free. So she's also gonna be balanced. Even Beach Vacation Eclipse looks like she's gonna be balanced too. Because I feel like, and I do see Angelica again. Looks like they're gonna be raising her the HP cap again. Then that means we also see Elise, we see Anastasia, we also see Rue. So it looks like they're gonna be balanced and adjusted again to fit the current, I guess, power scaling in the game with enemies and bosses and stuff. The one thing that I hope they do with Eclipse, though, however, for a Beach Vacation, is that they reduce the actual turn on her, because that was real, because it was an 11 turn cooldown time, mind you. Okay, because even having that used in like Fiend Hunter boss or even the Guild Raid boss in general, yeah, you can really only have activated like, unless there was a conditional skill that reactivated the skill in itself the next turn, or reset the skill. You were looking at it only using it at least twice, right? So with Eclipse, I really hope that they reduce the cooldown on hers, because that would be really cool if they did that. Honestly, it would be a big help, you know? It would actually also get magic team damage dealers back into the game too as well, because every single one of them that you see is actually magic at the bottom. The top one are physical damage. The bottom are just all magic. So I'm really hoping to see some improvements with them. Okay, guys, so they added some new items to the shop. I'll just explain this because it's pretty self-explanatory. So they're going to be adding new items here. One of them was the refining. Was it refining? It looks like refining powder and more gold to them. it looks like, but let me see.
Will be added to the golden thread shop and also the and refining vessel shop will now sell gold and refining powder.
또 이제 황금의 실 상점하고
And refining
희망의 가루
powder will be
상점에서도
added to the
대령가루가 추가가
golden
됩니다.
thread shop and also the powder of hope shop.
Okay, so there you have it. They're adding gold and powder of hope, which is basically used for refining your gear to like S class if you wanted to go for that, right? That's what they're adding to it. Now, the new character costumes, which is what I was saying, how they're adding one additional Fated Guest and another new prestige skin next month. This is it. So it's going to show you. It's also going to showcase some of the newer characters coming in the new year, which I'm very excited with one of them especially. So here they are.
다음은 1월에
Next up is January's new characters.
코너인데요. 코너가 진짜 많네요.
We have so many segments today,
아직도 많이 남았어요.
Yeah.
but still a lot more.
계속해서
Give us the deets, Junie.
네, 지루하지 않으시죠?
All right. Are you guys bored? I hope not.
Okay, guys, so here they are. So I knew for a fact that Onsen Blade was gonna be debuted in the new year, at least in the new year or in February. I knew it was gonna happen, because we had the Onsen event story happen earlier this year in February, right? Onsen Liberta, Onsen Ventana. They were both characters that were introduced into the game, right? So I had a feeling that Onsen Blade was eventually gonna be coming, even if we had to wait. And now she's here because she played as an NPC, so now we're going to be getting her. So I'm very excited because now she'll be gaining more power, and I love Blade in general. She's actually one of my very favorite of the apostles just because, like, I just love her entire look, her entire style as well. Okay. So we also have, I believe she was the Gludi Queen, if I'm not mistaken. She appeared in Olivia's story. That's when she was introduced as an NPC. So she's finally going to be able to be a playable character now. We also see, obviously, this is Liberta. So it looks like it's going to be a New Year's Liberta themed. It might be. I think it's going to be. I don't know who this might be, to be honest with you. It could be, I don't know, maybe it's Rue, because they just released Sonia, and they also released Rafithia back in the summer. So the only other one, unless this is a new character in itself, like one of the new Reveries, that's the only one that I can think about. But other than that, it might be Rue, but we'll just have to see if that is. But other than that, this is definitely Liberta. Okay, but yeah, let's see. Let's look a little bit more then down the future for this. So Ventana and Liberta. So this was actually a snippet of the new Fated Guest, and they also have the Prestige skin for the screenshots of like the interaction scenes. Obviously, we all know who this is, right? This is kind of obvious, to be honest. Like, this is obvious, guys. Okay, with that size, the bust, and also the black hair, and the only other one that has this outfit in the game because she's the only one, it's Ventana. So Ventana is going to be either a Fated Guest or she's going to be the Prestige skin. Okay. And then we have what looks like, let's see. This is definitely Liberta. I was saying it and I called it because she's the only other character in the game that has red hair as a female. So that's where I'm saying, like, this has got to be Liberta. They were also mentioned something about a jar and like this particular character being in it or something like that. I don't know where that direction was going, but I can safely say this is Liberta. Now, Prestige skin or Fated Guest, we don't know. They didn't actually specify. They were just teasing us here, guys. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the ones for next month. So you have another opportunity to get another Prestige skin. Okay, so Ventana or Liberta? Which one do you guys think it's going to be for who? Okay? Okay, guys. So here are some more quality of life updates that they did. I think the one that I would like to talk more about is this one. So this is the absorption / assemble buttons combined. So basically, instead of having like individual, like, you know how Sonia and Rafithia both have the Gludi collection one? Right, and it was and it was like stacked to 7 turns instead of 5 now. Well, they combined it into like one button. So basically, they're both going to be doing the same job. It's just that you're not going to need to have 2 icons of the same type, like in your like shortcut keys, right? However, you're still going to be able to choose which one goes first and then which one goes, I guess, second in the rotation for this. Same thing with the absorption skill, because like we have Liberta, Celia, and Tyr that do them, right? So it's basically going to be like that, and you'll be able to choose which ones go in which order when you click on it. Okay, because you do gain experience points when you use the skills on the field. Okay, so that's the reason why. But I would say this one is like the best one, just because I think, you know, it frees up space for your shortcut keys, and it also is a time saver, in my opinion, to do it. Okay, guys, so they switched to weekly reset instead, too, as well. So as you can clearly see, the weekly reset thing, which is a lot of things that, you know, a lot of players wanted to have happen because they felt that, you know, doing it every single day got tiring and also very tedious, which, you know, I can agree to a point with how it got tedious. So you can now just collect all materials, you know, within a week, you know, weekly portion of what you would normally do every single day. It'll add to the same amount, I'm assuming, of like the resources you collect. So very much looking forward to this one, because you can only just do it like you do it all in one day and you're done for the rest of the week. So very, very nice, by the way. Let's see. Another one I wanted to get to. So Fiend Hunter system improvements. Let's see.
그리고 이제 장비에 일괄 해제 및
We've also
장착
added
기능이
unequip
추가가
all
되고요.
and equip all
동료
gear
UI나
options.
종말에서 마물 추적자
It up to 21.
을 하고
Choose which-
다음은 마물 추적자이고요. 연습 전투가
Next,
20레벨까지
Fiend Hunter. Fiend Hunter training battles are now expanded up to level 20.
피해량에
Okay, yeah, Fiend Hunters go to level 20, guys. So they added 5 levels on top of the 15. So like I said, they're scaling a lot of the powers power scaling for a lot of the characters are being adjusted now. So this is why you're seeing this change, or being added, I should say. It makes sense when you think about it, since they're buffing up a lot of the characters now from the past. And we're also now getting, like, you know, a lot of newer meta characters introduced into the game now. So when you think about it, you know, it really does make sense that they do this. So I'm not mad about it. In all honesty, I'm very happy for it. It also gives people more of a challenge now in case you reach 15 and pass it now, you know? Whoops.
You'll be able
보실
to
수
view
있도록
highest
여기
damage
버튼이 추가가
stats
됩니다.
with a new button.
그리고 이제 장비에 일괄 해제 및
We've also
장착
added
기능이
unequip
추가가
all
되고요.
and equip all
동료
gear
UI나
options.
종말에서 마물 추적자, 길드레이드 등의
You can use this
UI들에서
in the companion
이용하실 수
UI
있습니다.
and also Fiend Hunter and
그리고
guild
이제
raids.
맨 끝에 있는 화면 다음으로 주점에서 이제
And on the
동료
very
영입
right side, in the
현황을 판단해 볼 수
tavern, you
있는
can now check
기능하고
recruitment
필드 내
progress and view your
어디에서든 주점에
companions
등장한
from
동료
anywhere
리스트들을
on the
볼 수 있는
field.
기능이 추가가 됩니다.
네. 이어서는
Next,
지난 방송에서
updates on the
검토하고 다시
items that the
말씀드리겠다.
dev team said they would review.
항목들에 대해서 이제 그간에 저희가 고민한
Okay,
내용들을
so
다시
we will
한번
be sharing what we have
시간입니다.
contemplated so far on
첫
all
번째
of the other
질문부터 먼저
items.
볼까요?
Okay, guys, so I think this was a very big thing, and I have it on my list too of like what I wanted to cover. So they're gonna explain it to you, and then I'll do my best to try and like summarize what they mean by the critical thing. I believe when they were talking about this, and I was like, what I was gathering from what I was hearing is you don't have to crit farm anymore when it comes to like, you know, dealing a lot of damage. And that's actually what I gathered from this, but you know, in case I'm wrong about it, correct me in the comments, feel free to. But I believe that's what they were saying with this. They made it basically more easier for the crit chances to be, you know, to be established when you hit it, right? However, they did take something away from this. I believe it was the stack count that you can go up to crit now, because they felt that the crit damage was getting too overpowering now. So I think they fixed that now, where you no longer have, well, where it no longer is the one basically like main thing you look now into, because like believe me, the numbers in Brown S2 can go very very high, like extremely high depending on your build for this. But I believe that's what they were discussing with this. But I'll let you guys decipher what they were saying with this, so I'll let it play.
that
네.
were
먼저
reviewed.
크리티컬
First is about the
반복
forced
시도가
critical
강제된다.
retry in
그래서 좀
some
근본적인
content.
개선이 필요하다.
So there needs to be some
라는
fundamental
이야기인데요.
changes into the retry itself.
먼저 말씀드리고 싶은 부분이
Yes.
오늘 이제 방송에서 원래 준비했었던 내용이 너무 좀 길더라고요. 그래서
So the content that we originally prepared is too long, so we're going to put all the details in the dev note. So please read the dev note when it's out.
방송에서 말씀드리는
Okay, so actually, let me go check out the dev note real quick. Let me just scroll through to the bottom of that, because that was something that, and yes, I did cover a lot of this, by the way, just so you guys know that. Let me see. Fantasia Square, here it is, guys. So if you want to read more about the details with Fantasia Square, it is available. And yes, guys, I am still coping for my girl Eleanor to be a costume in the future. Okay? I'm still coping for that. Okay, so let's see. And by the way, the theme for the fishing, by the way, is you can change it from night to day. Just so you guys know that. And also, she is an NPC that's in Story Pack 16, the Alliance one. You meet her at the docks. She actually is an NPC there. But damn is she built. Look at them thighs. My goodness. Isn't that cute, though? This is actually incredible that they're doing that. By the way, like I said, they're really expanding their content in this game. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm so hyped for my girl Onsen Blade. You have no idea. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna read it. Maybe it'll make more sense if I read this. Okay, so here we go. Yes, the crit retry issue was something that was postponed due to other higher priority issues, but we've conducted several in-depth discussions this time to properly resolve it. Currently, Brown S2 has crit damage values that are excessively high compared to other games, and there's no mechanism to limit retries, making it possible to achieve top scores simply by investing time, which is crit farming. Discussions have focused on introducing a new growth system that allows you to reach 100% crit rate using a character's base stats and the various buff skills without using gear. Okay. In other words, even if all your gear is set for crit damage, so basically if all your sub slots, or like let's just say if you have all 15 sub stats or sub slots filled in with crit damage, right? That's basically what they're saying right here. The system would allow you to reach 100% crit rates, but that would make all crit rate gear useless. Therefore, a system will also be implemented where values exceeding 100% crit rate will partially be converted into crit damage at a set ratio. So the specific design of this new system hasn't been finalized yet, but the plan is to make it achievable for all players through regular gameplay. And since implementing this system will take time, we've also reviewed additional measures that can be implemented more quickly. Until now, crit checks were conducted individually for each target, requiring retries until a crit occurred on all enemies within the area. Moving forward, a single crit check will be performed regardless of target or area, and if successful, all affected enemies will receive the crit. This change will require some time for combat testing and is expected to be implemented in January, if not February. Okay. So, from my gathering of this, and like I said, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, okay? Covering the gear. So, basically, a lot of us, I would assume, don't use crit rate gear all that much just because, we have buffers for that, right? Because I really don't use crit anything with crit rate in the gear. I actually don't use. Okay. Because There's only one specifically I use with Deanna, but the thing is I use it because of the HP that you also get from it. But that's really the only reason, right? But I don't use crit rate gear for anything. But what they're saying is, in case you have gear that has crit rate, and let's just say you have a buff on your character that then exceeds the 100% crit rate status, whatever left over that's like crit rate wise. So let's say if you have gear on that's like, let's just snowball this. Let's just say it's 60% crit rate gear on you, right? And then you activate Liberta's Dark Saint's ability, which gives you 50% more crit rate, right? Or Helena's skill that gives you 50% crit rate, right? So right then and there, that's 110 crit rate, correct? So that extra 10% crit rate will be converted into crit damage, basically. That's what it's saying, more or less. Now, the thing with the crit damage, I don't think they're going to limit it. Maybe like, well, okay. So if when I was reading this, I know I'm like stuttering. When I was reading this and hearing them say it, you know, I don't think they're gonna limit you now for crit farming. Still, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I just believe they made it easier because the thing is, at times when you use crit rates to get that crit damage in, right? Sometimes it doesn't hit. I mean, you can be unfortunate. You can have basically like a 60% crit rate and like it just doesn't proc, right? It happens. It does, you know. It still is RNG, guys, okay? It can happen still. So it was very frustrating, right? And then you would have to like go back a previous turn, and then that's when you start to crit farm, right? So they kind of got rid of that. Actually, not kind of, but they're looking into getting rid of that type of system. So I don't necessarily know if like having a crit rate now on your gear is necessary to reach like the guarantee like crit rate actually proccing now to like 100%. I'm not sure. But I wouldn't really rely on crit rate stats all that much just because you're going to be, you know, replacing it with another so-and-so stat like magic attack percentage or flat stat of magic attack, for example. Okay. Same thing with physical, like attack. Because I don't really believe you need to reach 100% crit rate in order to get the crit damage hit, right? But that's just me. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong with my understanding of this, in you know the comments below. Also the thing with hitting enemies now. Okay, so from what I was understanding from this too is, okay, so let's just say, let's use Eclipse for example, her beach vacation one, right? She does an AoE field attack, right? It's like, I think 9, I think it's the entire field in fact. But anyway, so when you get a crit damage on, as like if you get a successful crit damage, right? It would sometimes hit with multiples or sometimes just one in particular, like one enemy on the field. Now what's going to happen is, instead of that just being like sort of an RNG thing with multiple enemies being hit by an AoE attack where you actually successfully get a crit damage, it'll now count towards everyone as a guarantee. Okay, it's no longer going to be like, you know, this enemy gets a crit damage and then this enemy for some reason misses it, right? You don't get the crit damage on this one despite how they both got hit at the same time. It'll no longer be like that. Everybody will get the damage as a whole now. So everybody will receive crit damage. That's what I was gathering from like when they were saying this here. Now it's not going to be implemented yet, so keep that in mind. They're still going to test this, so it might be next month or February, okay, at the latest. Okay, guys? Here's another thing. Exclusive gears. Okay? Okay, so yes, the exclusive gear issue was partially addressed in August of 2025 Through the balance adjustments of some gear, even after the improvement, if the exclusive gear was an armor or helmet, you could not freely set its base, defense, or magic resist, making it difficult to equip depending on the field hunter's attack type. Accordingly, we reviewed this issue from the ground up and decided to implement the following additional improvements. It'll be changed so that even basic stat 1 will be eligible for option refinement. Defense and magic resistance will be added as an option for basic stat 2. The basic stat of crafted gear will be improved to allow the same setting on exclusive gear. For example, Rafithia's exclusive gear can now have both basic stats 1 and 2 set to defense. Additionally, the basic 1 stat of exclusive gear will be provided in a way that allows you to freely choose and change the desired options without going through a separate refinement process. This improvement is scheduled for February. We apologize for any confusion caused by this additional refinement change. And at the time of the update, 2,000 refining crystals will be rewarded to everyone, which is actually very generous because that material is can be crazily rare to get. But okay, so from my understanding is, okay, so the thing is, we'll use also Lathel's gear as an example because his is also meant for his body, right? Because they're talking about the helmets and the armor, right? So, when you went to like fight a Fiend Hunter boss or a Guild Raid boss, depending on what they were, magic or physical, you had to set up. Mainly, it was your armor and your helmet. So you like your torso and your head, right? That was the gear that was most important for setting up. That's why when I was always saying to you guys, like, always have at least the substats set to crit damage and nothing else, was because if you wanted to switch it out for, like, let's say a magic user and I was facing a boss that was catered towards physical, right? And that enemy dealt physical damage to me, and I was wearing, like, armor that was catered to magic, I would get destroyed. So I would have to switch out to armor that was purely defense in order to survive the hits, right? So the thing with that was, I would always say set it to crit damage percentage numbers because you'll be able to universally use the armor for everybody then as a whole, okay? Because everybody would get the crit damage percentage because that's literally the universal, like, substat that everybody can use as a whole, right? Because if I had, like, physical attack percentage, for example, on the armor, and then I switched it to a magic user, they're going to be out one substat skill with not using because the attack percentage isn't going to work for them. So what do, right? It sucks because you're losing out on a substat that you could actually use, right? So that's why I say that. Now, with this exclusive gear, I think it's the exclusive attribute in itself. So, like, the 45%. Now, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong with this, okay? I believe now they're talking about the basic stat 1 and basic stat 2, right? So there's like 2 other stats that come along with the exclusive attribute. So you're now able to set one of them to what you want it to be. The one thing that I'm trying to understand is this one right here, though. Basic stat 1 with exclusive gear will be provided in a way that allows you to freely choose and change desired options without going through a separate refinement process. So maybe they're going to announce later down the line. Now, mind you, this isn't actually going to happen in the new update, mind you. This is just saying that this is in the future. So what they're saying here is they're going to have it in a way where you can actually lock in, let's say, for Lathel, for example, too. Where if I have it set to, like, both defenses against physical attacks, there's going to be a way where I don't have to actually spend refining crystal and basically, respend it to change it to, like, let's say magic resistance if I go up against a magic boss then, right? So maybe they'll have a way where you can lock in the stat of defense, and then you'll also be able to go for a second choice for exclusive gears only, right? And you'll be able to refine it again and then just lock in that stat for magic resistance, for example. So then when you go and you fight a boss, you'll be able to choose between the two without having to refine it again. That's what I'm gathering from what they're saying about this. So we're gonna have to see how they do that though. Okay. But yeah, I believe that's what they mean by that. Mm. Let's see. Okay, this is discussing those event rewards I was talking about earlier with when they were rerunning the male characters. So basically, players were wanting to know if there could be additional rewards when you get to +5, because the +5 reward for it was Ancient Crystal instead of like 10 draw tickets, right? Because at +4, that's where you got all the draw tickets, right? For the for leveling up your character in those events. Because like I said, example wise, Dark Knight Lathel, if you level them up to +5, you would get like 50 tickets in return, because for each plussing you get 10 tickets back, right? But however, when you got to +5, it wasn't 10 tickets, it was refining, or not refining, it was Ancient Crystal instead that you got. So people were saying that they wanted something different then, and more of an incentive to +5 a character. So that's what they're talking about here. So they're not going to do anything with that. In all honesty, I didn't see a big deal about, the Ancient Crystal, because Ancient Crystal is used for UR crafting. So I didn't have it. I didn't have like any deal with it, but that's what they said about it though. Okay, are there plans to introduce a user voting system for Fated Guests in the future? There won't be a popularity vote for Fated Guest, so instead they'll be selected from the top ranks in the character popularity vote held during the 2.5 anniversary. Okay. Among the top ranked characters, those without existing Fated Guest status and with connections to the anniversary story will be used as the selection criteria. Okay. So the voting process will be a little bit differently then when we vote on our next like free +5 one basically. So there won't be a popularity vote for Fated Guest. Instead, they'll be selected from the top ranks in the character popularity vote held. Okay, so basically it's like a link they send out. You vote on it. So much like how they did with the summer, because that one was also a character popularity, if I'm not mistaken. Those without Fated Guest status and with connections to the anniversary story. So I'm assuming it's just everybody else, right? That the only ones you won't see on the list then are be the ones that were picked for +5s. So the ones that were picked for the +5s were like Dalvi, Morphia, Eclipse, Muhamina, Rue. So they won't be on the list since they already were like chosen before in the past. Okay. I think this is basically the same way they did it actually for the summer one. I think that's what they did with it. I'm trying to remember. It's a lot of content to cover, guys. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, now I know this is a topic that technically I don't have to get into, but I'm just gonna ask you guys about it. And if you have anything to say in the comments below, feel free to. What were your like initial reactions if you did play the story packs in like 15 through 19? What were your thoughts on it? What did you find enjoyable with basically like, you know, the outcomes of these stories, right? In my opinion, guys, I felt that with the last one at least, there were some things that were very confusing and also so out of nowhere, that they could have built upon to make it a little bit more understanding in. I'll use the one scenario where Wilhelmina and her troops appeared in Story Pack 19. They kind of just appeared, right? But they really didn't do all that much, and then they left. That was the one thing that I was like very confused about, because I was like, what was the point of them coming then? If that was the case, they were just gonna leave. I felt that had they stayed, right, while we were dealing with, Storis in the story, like in the rest of the story, that would have made more sense for them to stay back. So as to have the initial immersion that they were fending off like the fallen Valkyries and the fallen soldiers, of the past, and they were fending them off for us while we were doing our thing. That I would have understood then, and then that they would have like, been there when we exited out of like the tomb, right, leading it to the night world, where Shada and Gray would be the only ones coming out of it, and then they could have discussed it with Wilhelmina then, right, with everybody still being there, like the rest of her troops and stuff. That's where I would have been like, that would have made more sense, right? But instead, they appeared, they fended off where we had a fight sequence with like some of the soldiers, and then they just disappeared. And I was like, what? You guys aren't staying? Yeah, so that's why I was saying, and I'm not the only one that felt that way about that situation. Now, I'm just using that as one example, mind you. There's a lot of other things that could have been done differently. But yeah, that was like one main thing about Story Pack 19 that a lot of people, including myself, were very confused about, and that they could have done a better job with. Um, they also talk about the JP voice acting. I knew that they didn't have it because like when I played it and streamed it, right, there was no JP. They had the KR though, voice acting in it, which is just as great, by the way. I do play the game in Korean as well from time to time. Let's see. Okay, so the renewed story of the story packs. Okay, guys. So the one thing that was voted on about this was, and I have to agree because I wasn't the only one saying this in the game, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the contents about this now new direction they're gonna take with a self insert, which is a very bad approach. It really is. Brownness 2 was not built upon it, but I'm gonna get into it basically a little later here. But yeah, so if we're talking about the renewed story packs, they didn't do well. They actually did not do well at all. Some people didn't reach story pack 15 yet, so a lot of them didn't really have anything to say. Other people didn't feel a need to redo the stories just because they either did them or they didn't feel like they had to do a renewed story because they actually just liked how it was originally written, right? Some people actually were saying that they didn't do the story because there was no additional rewards for redoing the renewed story, which I thought was ridiculous, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that was why. Okay, so these were the reasons for this. So if we look at them, people enjoyed the renewed stories because smoother story progression, and there were added animated effects, meaning they added the short animations that they usually did for like the trailers for each of these story packs. They added them into the game, which I thought was actually a really nice thing, right? Smoother story progression. So I played the end of story pack 18. The thing is, I can't technically replay 15, 16, and 17 just because I already did them when they originally came out, right? So I can't actually go back and replay them. I would have to go back into the cutscenes, like in the archive system, and then replay them all there for like the dialogue and stuff to actually see what they did fix with this in order for me to understand it. I was only able to do story pack 18 was because I didn't complete it on hard mode or very hard mode, and when I was doing it at the end, I actually saw, yes, there were some differences with Olivia. By the way, I was not too enthralled about it, okay? Not too excited what they did with that. To be honest, I was kind of disappointed because I really felt Olivia's death was meaningful behind it. Okay, it was a lot of history that led up to that moment, and I felt what they did with Olivia originally was perfect. Okay, people were basically going on about like they didn't want Olivia to die off because they loved her so much. Like, I get that from their perspective, but as written in a story, I didn't see her being alive actually having more meaning with it. Yeah, I love Olivia too, guys, okay? I always boast about her, right? I always talk about her. But I felt her death was more meaningful because it gave Eustia also growth and also more of a sense of accomplishing the goals that she set out to do. You know what I mean? Because her mother was a Valkyrie, right? And Yusti has the blood of a Valkyrie in her. So I felt like that death was very meaningful to her. And I always use this as an example too. It's like basically if they took Himiko's death in Honkai Impact 3rd out, right? And they had Kiana meet Himiko again when she was alive. It literally would have ruined the entire character build of Kiana. Not to mention, it would have ruined the story too, as well. It actually would have, hands down, ruined it. So that's why I always like to compare that, is because, you know, meaningful deaths in a story actually do work better when it's actually, you know, makes sense. And in Olivia's case, it did make sense, you know. So even people were saying it in the live stream chat. I couldn't even show you. People were so upset, you know, in that live stream chat with the entire thing with the renewal when this was brought up. They were really upset by it. Um, so the things they disliked, changes to Olivia's story, like I said, you know, and questioning the need for change. That was another big reason. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. Not pretty bad. It was actually bad. I'm sorry to say that, Brown does too, but that was not a smart move on your end with this. It was really bad. Um, let's see. In particular, changes to Olivia's story were criticized for reducing immersion, and there were concerns that these changes could compromise the essence of the original work. Some preferred the original story and even questioned the necessity of the changes themselves, right? We have given the survey result a great deal of thought. The story renewal was carried out not just in response to some fans' opinions, this is what I mean by that, when that entire thing started back in August, but also because I personally judged that improvements were necessary for future story developments. However, unlike system improvements, story enhancement requires a deep emotional approach and meticulous design. So hasty revisions could actually hurt, and partial adjustments alone will be inefficient to meet expectations. Therefore, we have to once again realize that the story should have been prepared more carefully and with higher quality from the very beginning. And then this is where we get into the entire, like, also, you know, bomb drop that they did, which pissed off everybody in the live stream chat. Oh my god, they were like raging. Um, Alongside this, we can be comprehensively reviewed elements we have been continuously considering, such as story quality, improvement plans, and enhancing character immersion, and decided to reevaluate the future story development plans for Brown 2 from the ground up. In particular, our main concern was the storyline following Story Pack 20 and the improvements direction for existing Story Packs 1 to 19. To enhance character immersion, we actively considered adopting a first-person perspective for the main story, so a self-insert. One of the main issues that has been consistently raised is that while the characters' designs are excellent, their interactions with players have been inefficient. The main reason for this was a structural issue. The player does not appear in the main story, which reduces immersion in the official narrative, which I think, honestly, is false. Although there is currently a first-person story called The Gloopy Diner, it is disconnected from the main story, has a small number of linked customers, and updates relatively slowly. Considering these points, we decided to introduce a first-person perspective in the main story to reduce the distance from the characters and maximize immersion. Of course, introducing first-person perspective alone does not automatically make the story better. The issues raised in the current story are more related to its overall quality rather than the perspective. However, we decided on this approach because a first-person perspective is better suited to convey immersion and character appeal more effectively. I'll also share the thought process behind how we plan to implement the first-person perspective. Okay, you ready, guys? You ready to rage? Okay. The first-person approach is for the master to naturally join the storyline after Story Pack 20. Building relationships with Eustia and the other characters from a first-person perspective Meanwhile, story packs 1 to 19 will be renewed while maintaining the current third-person perspective, and since all characters may have potential romantic elements with the master in the future, existing character pairing flags will need to be minimized as much as possible. My god. However, there are concerns about whether it could integrate well so the master's main narrative wouldn't feel out of place, and the fact that story packs 1 to 19 will need to be completed before moving on to pack 20. Guys, this also is a huge setback to also future story being actually done outright. We're going to have to wait even further in the future for new story packs, because the thing is, they're going to be rewriting everything from the ground up. So basically, retconning it. And that'll push, us waiting for new material back. And we'll be basically reliant on basically interaction scenes and what we're getting now, which, is incredible, yes. But the thing is, with the main story, we're not going to be seeing this for quite some time. That's also another big reason as to why this is a bad move on their end. Secondly, the approach is to replace Lathel, oh my god, with a new persona starting from Story Pack 1. This approach removes Lathel from the narrative, allowing the players who has seen the ending of Brownness 2 to dive back into Story Pack 1. In the first-person story, the protagonist primarily serves as a background-like presence. Since the existing Lathel has strong defining traits, there were concerns about whether players could fully immerse themselves within a new persona, and also worries that the master persona in Gloopy Diner could end up being a different character from the main narrative, creating a contradiction. We also explored several other options. Among these, we decided to proceed with the first approach. The goal is to have the master naturally appear in the main storyline after Story Pack 20, connecting everything organically while incorporating the first-person narrative. Okay? So this is it. So you see like part 2, chapter 1, basically. Additionally, we decided to improve the system so that new players can start directly from Story Pack 20 without having to complete all the previous story packs. It won't be Story Pack 20, but the first installment of part 2. New players will start from Story Pack 2, part 2, chapter 1, while story packs part 1, chapter 1 to 19 will be repositioned to be viewed as the past narrative of the current story. As mentioned earlier, the renewal of the existing story packs is being carried out in collaboration with an external company. We expanded the scope of the collaboration, deciding it was appropriate to view all of Part 1 from start to finish through a new perspective. Previously, only packs 1 to 14 were included, but now packs 15 to 19 and the season event Going Home is also being consulted. Oh my god. Jeez. We will continue to share progress updates from time to time. To create a better story, we will actively take all necessary measures, including collaboration with external experts and strengthening our internal team, and we'll continue working to deliver a better narrative. Here are some additional updates outside of the main patch notes, events, and merchandise we hope fans will be excited about. Okay, so other than everything that, we just saw here, this is all basically merchandise and stuff that I'll make a separate video for because there's a lot to cover with that. And also, there's my room furniture pass now, which you can also check out in their video demo of it too. But yeah, the thing is, guys, yeah, I'll cover this in a separate video, by the way, the merchandise. But let's discuss, because this is gonna wrap up this video, by the way. But what are your initial thoughts on this? Honestly, does Brownness 2 story really need to have a first-person self-insert MC? Honestly, does it need it? Guys, in the honest truth, I don't see this being a thing. I feel like they started off as a JRPG game, third-person perspective. Lathel is still a very great character. I still feel he has a very strong tie to the main game, to even Eustace still. Right, Shada and Gray, excellent pair, duo there as well. Eustace and Shada, best friends too as well. Right, Gray, he ends up liking Lathel for who he is as well. They become best friends. Right, so this is what I mean. It just would completely destroy everything. Not to mention, veterans of the game would definitely hate the approach with this because they got to know a character from like the ground up, right, from day one till now, and to see this happen, it's really unnecessary overall. It is like very unnecessary. I know that people might think self-insert MCs nowadays is like the best approach, but it isn't. Not for every single game that works for, mind you, right? Nikkei is different because I've been seeing in the live chat, like when I was reading it, they said like it works for Nikkei and stuff like, but it's like Brown Dust 2 is not Nikkei, okay? Nikkei is its own story. It actually fits with it because they started off with a self-insert in the first place. So that's like basically going back in Nikkei and then them starting part 2 of Nikkei's story and adding a third-person perspective. And it's not the commander. You know how many people that would piss off? Like, that's basically what they're doing with Brown Dust 2, except it's the opposite. They're going to have a self-insert, right, that we know nothing about, that we don't even know is going to even fit into the story, right? Not to mention, a lot of the other story packs, like the background with Liberta, the background with Blade, the background with Olivier, especially Olivier's story, would just be destroyed, right? It would just be gone. It would be like it never happened, right? And those stories are really fucking good, okay? And this is a bad approach. Self-insert for Brown Dust 2. I really believe it is, okay? Not every game has a self-insert, okay? Just because it's a self-insert and you're basically like the main MC immersing yourself in the game doesn't always make it a 100% guarantee that the game is going to be fire, okay? It doesn't guarantee it. Brown Dust 2 started off with a JRPG approach, third-person perspective. They had a really badass character like Lathel, right? The only thing that I felt they needed to do with the game was have event stories on the side of like Blade, Liberta, and Olivier's, for example. And just build up characters that way. So like Gray's past, I know we didn't get much with Gray and his like time in the Mercenaries Guild, right? And what he did from then until we met everybody, right, with Gray. That would have been an incredible story for an event I would have found, right, to see what he did in those years, that he wasn't, you know, when he didn't meet Ustia, when he didn't meet Shada, when he didn't meet Lathel. That would have been a really nice story to see. Eclipse, same thing with Eclipse. They could have added more background with her in an event story. They could have had like something with her past, how she became who she is now, how she met even Celia, how did they, you know. There's a lot of things they could have done with just the event stories alone that would have fixed this. It would have been simple to do, right? But you had that small group of people, you know, complain. Also, the entire thing with the Gloopy Diner for the self-insert MC, it worked entirely. There was nothing wrong with it. In all honesty, it was actually refreshing to have something that, yeah, it was a self-insert, but it wasn't part of the main game. All of those beautiful babes, guys, okay, all those waifus were from alternative timelines, so that's why it worked so well with, you know, the Master and the Gloopy Diner. Had no ties to the main game. It was its own thing, and that's why a lot of us loved it, you know. We had the interaction scenes, we had the faded guest stories, we had the wallpaper to come with it. It was a win-win, right, while we could still enjoy the darker side of the main game. There wasn't anything that needed to be fixed other than like what I just said. I felt like could have been the answer. I really felt that that's all they had to do. But with everything else, with the updates in themselves, everything is incredible, but the entire thing with, you know, rewriting the main story. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it covered a lot of the main focuses, and I hope you guys are ready for the 2.5. I'd love to hear comments down below with anything I just covered, in fact. Don't forget to check out the coupon code in the description, and also, if you are a new player and you want to download the game, since it's not on Steam no more, right, I'll end up having the PC link for you guys in my description too, so you can just download the file, and you'll be set, okay? And with that being said, guys, hope you all have a great one. Let me bring back my bunny girls here, right? And until then, guys, stay classy, stay safe, and I'll catch you all in the next. Take care.